Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of Sunday Night Geekery. And let me get this overlay hidden so you can all see our handsome faces tonight. Yep. So we got Captain Clobberin Times. So hail Clobberin Times.
Hey, hello everybody. Good to see
Yep. Yeah, we got to do intros for everyone, right? Yeah, or whoever I have intros for. Yep. And we got Maddie's daddy. I don't have a Thor intro for you though. I do have this picture though. So thank you for being with us tonight.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure being had.
I have suggestions on that. I can tell you about later for Thor.
Oh, okay, for Thor. You're doing Thor. Oh, and we've got Retro Nerd Girl here. Awesome.
Oh, my.
Hey.
Oh,
Hey, hi
Retro.
guys.
How are you?
Good.
Thank you for popping in and classing up the joint.
Thank you.
Guys.
Yeah,
we
great.
surely need it.
Absolutely.
You guys are so sweet.
And we've got Pat S here, so we'll say hi to Pat
Hey,
S,
buddy.
who's wearing. Is that did you steal Mexican Iron Man's armor or?
Yeah, what's funny about this picture is this was actually before Mexican Iron Man was Mexican Iron Man. This picture predates him by about 2 years. And if
Did we lose?
Oops.
Did we lose Mexican Iron Man? Pat S.
actually superimposed Polly from Latina Slant over,
Oh,
so it's
we
actually
lost you-
Polly
we
looking
lost-
at Mexican Iron Man. Yeah.
We lost
lost
part of
you.
your. We lost your punchline there.
Oh, I was sorry. I was saying that if you look good at the picture, Fed for Hire actually superimposed Polly over the guy
is Polly
looking
in
at
there?
Mexican Iron Man.
Can't
Yes,
really tell.
that's
kinda
Polly with
small.
his little his little straw hat on.
Oh, God. We all love Polly. That's my buddy. Nice.
So let's say hi to everyone in the chat. So we've got MMM out there. Hope you're doing okay, buddy.
He says he's
And
back,
I guess
Yeah,
some,
back at his castle, so that's good. That sounds like good news to me.
Yeah.
he's saying something in German, right? Yeah. I don't know what that means, but
Why am I?
I'm sure it's
I'm
something
getting-
good.
Is anybody else getting an echo?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's me.
If it's you, we'll
If she would have won,
if it's Klobby though, it's going to
No.
be okay.
I would
so
leave
you're,
immediately.
you're agonizer.
I would leave
Yeah.
immediately.
Leave immediately. Yeah. No, I think we're okay now. Maybe it was just the internet or StreamYard, but we should be good here. But my buddy Jeff says my other buddy tells me go to bed because he goes to bed at 9 o'clock. So Geoff, yep. Jeff, yep. Geoff, yep. Brian Hepburn, Phantom Outsider.
Hey.
Hail,
I'm late to my own podcast. Yeah, well, Harold's never late for anything, so it's okay. Yeah, I apologize for starting late, but
The wizard is
usually
never late.
seems to happen. Yeah, that's why I put a 10:05, right? So yeah, my Swiss side is in big trouble. Yeah, with my American side. Yeah, if you're in Switzerland, if you're not early, you're late, and that's a big insult. So,
But you're also Italian, in which they show up at meetings. Whenever.
whenever. Yep.
Yeah. So
I always get Harold's going to come mock me. Okay, I'm looking for it. There's some of my good buddies from growing up in town. So yeah, longtime friends, so they can insult me like that anytime they want. Yep.
before you guys get going, and a lot of the stuff, I'm not going to be. I haven't seen any of the thing actually.
Well, we always talk randomly about stuff too. So.
Random is good. Although, of course, retro is here, so all of us know retro stuff. Planet of the Apes,
Yep.
et cetera, so. But I wanted to ask. So Hungry Boy did something that in the chat that I am not up to speed with, and it was a hashtag justice for Volstagg. Did they kill off Volstagg?
Don't know.
Yes, in the movies
Yes,
in
the movies
Ragnarok.
Oh, yeah,
Ragnarok they did.
They kill off everybody. So
In the stupid movie, Ragnarok.
yeah, I mean,
Not just Volstagg, the whole Warriors 3.
Three, right? Yeah. That's why I said justice for Volstagg, because the guys playing Shazam, Zach Levy, was Fandral.
Yes,
yep, was Fandral, and
in
Ragnarok.
Yeah.
And instead of just having him, get hurt or knocked out, or just they gotta kill him off. So
stupid.
Yeah, it's like with the exception of the X-Men in like a lot of the Marvel movies, the bad guy always dies. Therefore, there are no more stories unless they bring him back. Like the Green Goblin died in his only movie, then Doc Ock died in his only movie.
But then they brought him back later.
Yeah. It's the old nobody stays dead except Uncle Ben and Gwen Stacy.
Yeah, it used to be the old joke was in the 90s. It was nobody stays dead but Bucky, Uncle Ben, and Gwen Stacy. Now it's Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben, but no. Uncle Ben is back and he's pissed.
Is he back now? Okay,
no, I'm just kidding.
It probably is.
He probably still be Spider Ben.
Yeah, it'll be something.
Yeah.
Hey, Lisa's here.
What if
Lisa's
Uncle
Hey,
Ben?
Lisa. I'm gonna catch up to the chat here.
Lisa.
Good to see you, Lisa.
Oh, Lady Sif is still alive. Yeah, she was also on
Agents of Schmuck.
Yes, she was. Yeah.
That's it, right?
Hmm?
She just lost an arm. That's it, right?
Oh, did
Yeah. Yeah, she lost her arm.
Did she lose her? Oh, wow.
Is that in Love and Thunder, Rockets, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, her arms in Valhalla.
I don't remember that. Oh, well. Wow. Crazy.
Oh, Captain Marvel is that? Yeah, that's probably one of the few characters. Yep.
But
Captain in the comics. Yep.
Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, sort of.
Geoff knows his comics. Yeah.
They still brought him sort of back, like in some kind of
As far as I'm concerned, Marvel Comics has never done anything good with the name Marvel. Don't like any of them.
I like Marvel, but I don't like it. I mean, he's not the real deal Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
I
love it. Balder was. Oh, sorry. I was
Go
going to say Balder was killed. Was not killed on
wasn't
camera.
even in the movies.
But he was killed too, right? As part of the Warriors 3, right? Did they say the Warriors 3 or?
No, he wasn't even in the movies. Balder? No.
Oh,
Did they ever have Balder?
No. Well, Balder's not one of the Warriors 3, though.
He's not one of the Warriors 3 anyway, but he's not in the movies.
And in the mythology, he's Thor's brother.
Hmm?
Okay. Now I'm hearing me an echo, but I don't see.
I don't know.
Somebody's got.
I don't know.
But in the comic books, he was Thor's best friend, not
right. He's
not
one of the Warriors 3.
Yeah, he's not one of the Warriors. And in mythology, he was actually Thor's brother.
Yeah. So anyway, no Balder in the movies, unfortunately, which is dumb. They should have had him in.
Yeah. Hopefully, they'll reboot Thor and do it right. It'd be tough to find. It'd be tough to find anybody as good as Hemsworth, I think. But they found him. We'll find somebody else.
There you go. You want to feel this one, or have you seen the movie yet?
I have not seen the movie yet because I didn't make it out of the house today to go see it. Unfortunately, too much.
Save your time and money.
On. But it wasn't terrible, right?
Well, is it? I don't know what reviews Geoff is referring to, but my review is simply: if you like that first one, you'll probably you might enjoy the second one a little bit. They're relatively similar. I think this one has more action in it. This one's a little bit longer, feels longer. This one has its faults, but then so does the first. Well, I'm a Captain Marvel purist. That's the real deal Captain Marvel right there. There's one scene in there that kind of made me smile and that I really enjoyed, a cameo in it because of something that happened. But on basically, you do get more super, them as in the costumes doing things and stuff. If that's to your taste, it's relatively similar in tone to the first one. And I found the first one to be basically mediocre to meh, and this one to be pretty much the same. Again, they're not the same film exactly, but they're the same in tone. And again, it's just full of stuff that's relatively forgettable, like corporate sludge that they churn it out on the superhero movie assembly line. It comes out, and it's nowhere near as horrible as like Wakanda Forever that I've seen recently, or even Ant-Man Quantumania. It's not quite as bad as that. has some sort of semblance of, moderate entertainment in it, as opposed to those two. But it's forgettable. It's not going to do. It's already tanking at the box office. And I'd say if you do want to watch it, and if you just, wait till it comes on, streaming or whatever, that's what I would say. Can't recommend it.
Retro, you're the kind of the new person here. Have you seen either one of these movies? And
I'm not really in a location where I can see a lot of movies when they come out. It's like it'll cost me about maybe like $120 to
what?
maybe about 75 if I don't get any popcorn and I'm really stingy about everything.
Wow.
So it will take me a while to get there. But when they stream, I catch them when they stream.
Yeah.
If I have time. This is one I'm probably gonna miss in streaming as well. I'll wait, maybe a good 5 years and maybe it might be good to me.
Have you seen the first one?
No, I haven't. I actually bought the first one and I was like, I've just been kind of a little I'm just a little upset at DC right now and what they've been doing. And so I'm just I need to wait and see. And then I'll see. I'll see it eventually.
Yeah.
You're upset about James Gunn, like basically killing everything?
Like it goes further back. It just their entire handling of a lot of things. And they've been making a lot of mistakes for many, many years. And it goes all the way back to Donner, but it's
really?
like, yeah. So I just have a bad, like I don't know. I'm just not ready to just jump into seeing the movie just yet. I did see Black Adam, and I was actually surprised it was kind of decent. So I was like, yeah, this is decent. And it's kind of wild. These are all movies that should be doing very well at the box office, but people aren't going to see them.
They really they didn't even promote this one at all. I mean, under promoted it. I mean, first one did like fairly well considering it was not a well-known property, and did okay. Some people liked it. I mean, as a hardcore Captain Marvel fan, I had big issues with it, but they really under promoted this one to the point where I kept forgetting about it. Most people were like, "Oh, that's coming out. They made a new one. Why?" No one's really paying a lot of attention to it, and I'm not surprised that it's not going to do well. You already have a movie that was at least reasonably well accepted in the first one, and this one they don't put anything under it because they know that nothing, because there are cameos and different things in this one, like setups for other things that we know they're now never going to be followed through. Except one of them in the movie's probably going to be followed through. But there's a certain cameo toward the end that we know we're never going to see that person again.
Yep.
And it's just a mess.
Oh, really. On this movie or Black Adam?
In this one.
Oh,
and
really?
Black Adam.
Oh, wow.
Because we know we're not going to see Henry again. And there's everyone's seen the commercials. Gal Gadot, we're not going to see her again either.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I just want to say, we got Dad Man said he's lurking for a bit tonight. Well, working
Dad
on.
Man.
You better be doing work, Dad Man. But I have a new intro for Dad Man if and when he shows up. But he's still going to get it anyway. So hopefully, I toned down the volume, so hopefully it's not too loud. But here's the Dad Man intro.
Wow. Both hands on the wheel, buddy.
So Dadman, when we play Fortnite, he loves to blow up the gas stations and crash into things. So that's his new intro. So that's actually from an episode of UFO.
Yeah.
The episode 3. Yeah. So we're reviewing it. I said, I know a little. I'll edit this sucker. It'll be perfect for for our buddy Dadman. So enjoy that. Yep.
Well, Steve, though, I'll tell you what, Michael Gray is the greatest superhero of this movie. He is the hero of this film, he saved it for me to make it. I mean, good Lord, I can't believe he did that. I can't believe they let him do it. I was still shocked.
They should have done
Hmm?
somebody's. I'm hearing, still hearing.
I don't know if that's Steve or is that well
I've got headphones on.
you got headphones on. All
I
right.
do.
Or maybe
some-
if is it
Some noise in the background, nuts, like a
I don't know if it's Pat.
slamming stuff.
I don't know if it's Pat. Oh,
Oh wow. Yeah.
or maybe it's Pat. Pat
Yeah,
just
maybe.
muted. We love you,
There you
Pat.
go.
But see if
We love
it's
you,
you.
Pat.
I don't know if it's you. I don't know if it's
There
you
you
or
go.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, we
But,
love you. We love you anyway, Pat. Yeah.
Well, see, the shame is I love Zach Levy. He's got a great sense of humor. If you've watched Chuck, I don't know. Hopefully, everyone on the panel has watched Chuck. If you haven't,
Yeah, it's a good
go
show.
watch it. It's a great, fun nerd
I've
slash
not.
geek show. A lot of great
Yeah.
references on it. I just love that show, and you know he's great as the character. I mean, you know, you're never going to get, unfortunately, you know, great fidelity to the comics these days. It seems, but you're hoping for at least a lot of fidelity to the, you know, as much as you can get. And you know, it doesn't seem like we got that in this second movie. The first one I did enjoy, you know, from the reviews. I haven't seen it yet, but the first movie I did enjoy. I thought the villain was well fleshed out, and they did a great job with the bad guy. And you really need a good bad guy to get these movies to work. And you know, a lot of Black Adam, I did like some of it, but I think they fell short on the villain there. And I think what happens too is you love The Rock, but it's just we've seen so many of these movies. Dr.
Mhm.
Fate, I thought, was a standout. That it's just,
Yeah.
it seems like it's just like a formula, you know, now where maybe if Black Adam had come out, you know, 20 years ago, we would have been all blown away, or 10 years ago. But I think we're kind of just used to it. Like Ant-Man and Wasp. I didn't think it was horrible. I mean, I didn't think it was, but it's just generic. It's a generic show now, kind of like the Mandalorian's kind of turned into, I think, where you're not getting any of those shocks. But
Oh, boy.
I watched a bunch of Last of Us tonight. I'm trying to get through that first season. That's a hard hitting show, and that third episode, I don't know if you know,
Heard of it.
we'll segue to that, but I mean, had me almost, you know, crying about, you know, these, you know, the characters already in the, you know, in the third episode. So but I think that's where you need to have characters that you really feel for and you really love, you know, like Captain America when he gets introduced in Infinity War. Oh wow, that's so good. I mean, everyone clapping and cheering in the movie theater. And Ant-Man and Wasp, everyone, you know, was just like, okay, it's all right, but it's not, you know, wow, this is, you know, the CGI is just not going to do it for me. You got to have really a heartfelt story. So I think that's where they mess up things. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe right now, you know, people have teased like, oh, we may be in a phase of being over the whole superhero genre, and
Mhm.
we might be, because you know the I think that these films are totally fine, like the ones that I've seen, and according to a lot of people, you know, Ant-Man there were some people who were like, oh, this is horrible, and some people were like, what are you talking about, this is good. I mean, this,
Yeah.
I'm talking about critics, you know, that are often known for like trashing materials that are just, you know, at least decent. And so it's to a point where we need some, we got this like epic level situation with Endgame, and I think now we're sort of like, we need to know that the stakes are really like intense. We can't it's no longer okay for us to have superheroes just doing superhero things. We've seen that a million times. We need something special, and we're kind of, you know, right now all the studios are like, no, but we got to start over. We have to, you know, develop a new character, and you know, maybe people are just not into the old characters. No, I think what's happening is that people are looking for epic level events in their movies, and it's not really happening here. And also movies that that feel like they mean something. Like maybe you can see 5 of them, and it's all leading to something. But a lot of these stories, they're like, they feel very one-offish, and yet they don't have it's like, okay, well, but there's more. And it's like, well, you should have put that inside of this story because it needed some. Like at the end of Black Adam, seeing Henry Cavill's Superman, I was like, he should have been in the movie, like inside the story. and give us the character and give us more, up the stakes a little. So that's something I think the industry is suffering from. They just don't know how to reach the audience, because the audience is, after you've already given us the best, we want to get the better than best. We need to have it at that level from now on.
So I have a completely different take. I don't think that's it at all, actually, because if you look at Batman, every Batman that comes out does great, and they're not, in fact, getting bigger. The Batman was probably the smallest. It's one villain, no powers. But I think where they're going off the rails here is when they started with two things: story and, more importantly, character. Iron Man, when you start off, you kind of love him, even though he's a jerk. You can love him as a jerk. And you see his arc and his his personal journey, his guilt and his feelings of remorse for the things he's done when it hits home, which was
Cardinal Sin.
Hail Cardi.
Hey, Cardi.
Which is a very early Marvel theme. Not all of them, but the Hulk invented the gamma bomb, and then it only affected him. So there's this great regret here. Spider-Man.
Yeah, no Rick Jones.
When he got his powers, at first he was only looking out for himself, and then the consequences and the regret. So with the movies, you have Iron Man, and they go into his persona, and you love him. You learn the character and the story. With Captain America, it's a completely different story. He has nothing to atone for. He's a righteous guy, but you love him even before. I would say that most people would have kept on watching had Steve never got the powers. And of course, being a blonde-haired, blue-eyed artist named Steve never hurts. But I don't. For those of you who don't know, for a while, Steve Rogers was a commercial artist, and they alluded to that. They alluded to that when he's in the first movie. Yeah, when he's sketching himself as a monkey on a unicycle. So, and the Winter Soldier was not that huge of a movie either. I don't think that they have to keep getting bigger and bigger. What I think they're doing is they're forgetting what made these characters last for, in some cases, 80 years now, 90 years. They're just taking sort of a variation of the costume and the name, and then just doing a completely new thing. And that's not what people loved about him for so long. If you're going to make movies about characters that people love, you have to say, okay, what is it about it that has engaged these people for 60, 70, almost 80 years now in some cases? And I think that's where they're going wrong. Superman could have been made much like Captain America. There are people, people say, oh, the goody two-shoes, there's nobody like that. Mark D with a C is like that. If Mark D with a C was given superpowers, he would be Captain America. He would be Superman. He would be the,
Captain Marvel, even.
The gosh, do the right thing. Language, that kind of thing.
And I wouldn't go into Toys R Us and steal all the action figures with super speed. But,
well,
somebody's microphone is rubbing against.
Well, I think if someone has an analog, that sounds like an analog mic. I'm guessing it might be the jack. Usually that happens with the.
That'd be my new YouTube channel name, Analog Mike.
Analog mic. Yep.
Sorry.
That might be me. I think
it could be the connection. Maybe the connection gets.
If you're fooling around with your microphone now, it's definitely you.
Yeah.
Which we don't.
It could just be when the cord. No, it's good now. Yep.
Or it could be Lex Luthor.
Yeah.
Could be.
So anyway, that's my take on it, and I don't know if anybody agrees or not. I'm gonna look at the comments and see if people are telling me.
I like that too. I mean, I think there's there's something about it right now that when we're seeing a new superhero, we're kind of rolling our eyes at it, and I don't know if there's just like a lost art form, but there is something to be said for those, characters that are endearing. I mean,
Mhm.
and then they get the superpowers, and then we get to see them fight, and
Right.
um
Yeah.
uh,
In the case of
it's a
Shazam,
it's a journey.
in the case of
Yeah.
Shazam in the comics, Billy Batson was the last pure person on Earth. And so you like him because he's a good kid, even though he's got, he's an orphan, he's got all these problems. But in the movie, they made him a criminal, they made him a jerk, and they made, Captain Marvel, or they call him Shazam, or Captain Sparkle Fingers. They avoided it. He's kind of a coward. He's not that smart. And so it went off the rails a little bit. Superman is breaking necks left and right. And you can have
That's not Superman. But yeah.
right, exactly. I mean, you can have Batman, you can have Wolverine, you can have these dark characters that people love, the Punisher, but some characters you love because you've got to have the good to appreciate the bad guys. You just have to. Otherwise, it's everybody who's kind of on the same side, just in different, to different degrees.
Well, they've been doing that a lot with these past numbers of these superhero films, where the villains are not necessarily villainous. Marvel's been doing this a little bit. They're villainous, but they're not. They're always a little bit.
It's somebody else's fault.
Yeah, it's someone else's fault. They're more. I'm not saying you can't make them relatable on certain human levels, but sometimes they're just an evil, nasty villain. The last time that they had a villain in any of these superhero movies that it was okay to truly despise was the Red Skull, but we all know why, because of his affiliation with a certain, real life bunch of, scum in the world. After even Thanos, look, and I thought it was great the way it was written and everything. Even Thanos, they try to make you at least sympathize with a little bit. Loki, their version of Loki, he's not the nasty Loki from comics or even like mythology. Really, he's a very modern day. And again, Tom Hiddleston's really good in that role. It's not just, and a couple of the other
That's
villains.
why it works. That's why it works too, because he's so good in that role. You're right.
He's so charismatic.
It is, and it's fine. But once in a while, just make somebody a horrible, nasty villain. At least they haven't done it to the Joker yet. Even in crappy iterations, they never try to make you like the Joker. You like him because you're laughing at how insane he is, and he's the ultimate evil. And there's nothing. Yeah. The Joker makes you feel guilty for laughing at him because he's so horrible. And that's what he's for.
You're scared of him, or you're genuinely scared of the guy.
Next thing you know, they'll try to make you feel. And again, when they tell his earlier origin that more kind of retconned, they do make you feel a little bit sorry for him at first, but then they erase it by all the horrible, evil things he does. Yeah. So he had a tragic beginning, but then they never tried. After he's established, they never try to make you like the Joker. They try to make you like Thanos, and only like these villains, these quote unquote villains in this movie, in this film right here. They're the daughters of what's it, Zeus or Atlas? Sorry,
Atlas.
Yeah, and they're not. I mean, there are three of them, and one of them's really bad. One of them is kind of bad, but then kind of a little bit humanity and quote unquote humanity, and then another one's really is good, even though she starts out bad. It's just, come on. Just at least with the first movie, Dr. Savannah, there's nothing good about him.
There are a couple of times where it's worked. Like you said, Thanos, they made it work.
It does work, but you can't do it every time.
Loki, they made it work. And in a way, I think it was actually a good thing, because when you're grow up as brothers, there's usually a certain amount of love there. So it would take something to drive them apart. But yeah, Savannah is a bad guy. He should always be a bad guy. Black Adam, I haven't seen this movie, but I understand they're sort of having him drift over to the light side. And
Black Adam?
Yeah.
He's an anti-hero in the comics. Yeah. They started that before the movie, though.
Well,
but he's never really a bad guy in the movie, I would say, per se.
The Black Adam that I read was the one who got the powers, and then was sitting on top of the pyramid, looking down at the people who look like ants, and said, "I should rule." And he became
Yes.
power hungry, and he's done some really horrible things, and he's had no problem with murder and mass murder, all these other
Well,
things. So
He was totally evil. He was basically chosen
yes,
as old Shazam wizard, chose him for the power first. He was the first champion, and then he
Right.
abused it and became, this is an old story where he uses, the power corrupted him
power
and
corrupting.
whatnot. And then later when they brought him, because
Yep.
he only had like one appearance in the Golden Age, and he came back in the Bronze Age and kept popping up, and he was just that. He was a nemesis of Captain Marvel, of equal power. He was a threat that way. He was just a villain who thought he'd been and wanted revenge on the wizard and whatnot. And then later in the 90s, it got a hold of him because it was kind of a squishy, squashy time. And they started making him more of a, I think it was Johns and James Robinson and some other people started adding, layers to his origin that made him more of an anti-hero that actually cared about his people, but he was ruthless about it and all this other kind of horse hockey. That's why you ended up with the movie, because eventually he became fairly prominent in comic books throughout the 2000s. And there were I've talked about this before, there are fan message boards and whatnot all over the place going, they should do a Black Adam movie and The Rock should play him. He'd be perfect.
Yep.
Eventually, The Rock got a hold of this and he's, oh, yeah, man. And for like 12 years,
Well, he's a huge
15 years,
fan. He's a
couldn't get it
huge
made.
fan of the character.
I mean, I think had
He
it been
said that.
written, I think had
He
it
said-
been written better, he could have been a great Black Adam. I would still like him to have the pointy ears and the haircut, but he's got this thing written into his contract that he's essentially always got to be a good guy, and he has it written into his contract that he never loses a fight.
Yeah.
I got to interrupt. My agent is here, Harold, my buddy Harold. Check out Harold's channel. He's got a cool channel on woodcraft and camping and a lot of scouting stuff. This is one of my old time buddies. He's telling me it's 20 minutes until bedtime. But Harold, what are you doing up this late? Why are you not in bed? I thought you go to bed at 9 o'clock every night.
Mark, read it again. He says it's 20 minutes
Your
until
bedtime.
your bedtime, buddy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but what's he doing up this late? I want to know. I mean, this is way past Harold's bedtime. Wow.
Harold, Mark doesn't actually sleep.
No,
He's from Mark is from a different. I think he's from Orc. They don't actually sleep on Mark's planet. Hey, Mark from Orc. Not Mark from Orc. That's
Mark from Orc.
Yeah.
Ever been to
So
New York?
everyone here, if everyone could sub to my buddy Harold's channel, that would be cool. So
do we have a
there's
link?
the link. There's the link.
All right,
Ask
Harold,
and you shall receive.
Harold,
And
Indeed.
hail
I
to Admiral
to you
Teague.
right now.
Hey, Admiral
sir.
Teague. What's up, buddy? Yeah, no, we got you. Yeah.
Oh, wait, that link to Harold's is not a good link.
Oh, it's not a good link?
It says
Oh, let me fix it.
this page isn't available. Try searching for something else.
My goodness gracious. I don't even have my buddy's link working right. Let's see. Maybe I have to do let me check. But keep talking among yourselves while I try to figure out the link.
I would just say with villains, that someone said something. I think someone put there, you guys love Mark Hamill as the Joker. He's great as the Joker. We love villains in the sense that we love heroic fiction, and without a great villain, that hurts the hero. I mean, you got to have the villain is crucial to a superhero. So go ahead, Retro.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. I've been doing some watch parties for the Sinbad movies with the Harryhausen Sinbad movies, and all of the villains in that have been just so entertaining, and they really push the story along. And they're bad. They're just bad people, and that there are reasons in which we didn't need to even go into.
Mm-hmm.
But just having that, that bad person was enough to not only just be entertaining for the film, but again, push things along. This is your challenge for your hero. And they have to step up to the plate and deal with it. And with this sort of I do like the idea of, talking things out and the whole process of being diplomatic. But this is a fantasy. The reason why we go to the movies, for many of us, is to go see this fantasy that that is being played out. Not that this is how we would conduct ourselves in real life, but there's also has to be something believable in it. So, for us to have, all this deliberation with the villain, and building up this this backstory, like for Maleficent, like for instance.
Mhm.
When they said they were gonna do a movie about Maleficent, I'm like, she's gonna just tear everybody up. It's gonna be a lot of fun to see
Right.
this character be evil.
Mhm.
And it turned out, that it was something completely different. And it was just like, wow, that was a little bit of a letdown. I really wanted to see her let loose.
Oh, I never saw that movie, but she wasn't the real bad witch in that movie, or
No,
bad gal. No.
They
No,
essentially give her an excuse. It's somebody else's fault.
Same with what's her name? The
Even
Cruella
though
de
her
Vil.
even though her name literally means evil.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if you get it's like Scar. Either everybody's making fun of that guy because he's got a scar, or his parents named him the worst name ever. No wonder he turned out to be so bad. But,
So retro is the same way with Cruella too, right? Was it the same deal, pretty much?
yeah. Cruella, she was. We didn't know how, if what her backstory was, and I don't mind if there is a
didn't need to
backstory
know.
as long as we don't get it to be like, I really don't want to do this terrible thing. I want her to really enjoy being the
right.
bad person, so we can get that satisfaction when she's finally dispatched at
Exactly.
the end. I mean,
Exactly.
because how many people were still hoping that some of the evil characters, like the bad guy from Wakanda Forever, I forgot his name, but
Killmonger.
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 People
Or you
were
mean
like,
or you-
bring him back. I'm like,
you mean-
that's not what you do with the
You mean
bad guy.
Namor? You mean Namor though? They were trying to make him the bad guy. You talking about Namor? Namor, sorry.
Is he? Well, he's also not really a bad guy, isn't he?
No, he's always been sort of the way they try to portray Black Adam, that's what Namor has really always kind of been.
Yeah.
He was kind of always an eco-terrorist.
He was pissed off at the service world, but when he also in World War II realized that the Yazid's threat was really more the worst, so he teamed up with the Allies and became so he's throughout the course of his 80-something year history, he's been he's teamed up with villains and he's teamed up with heroes, but on the whole, he is not evil, not horrible. He's not a monster in any way. He just does not he butts heads with the surface world basically. But yeah, they made him. You're right. They made him sort of the villain of Wakanda Forever, which is what they did to him is horrible. And yeah, people who don't know that character would go watch that movie and go, I don't get this guy. He's really a bad guy, but he's also a wimp. And he's just
in the comics, he's a real arrogant SOB, but he's a SOB you kind of admire, if that makes sense. So he's he's a ruler of a nation, and feels wronged by the surface world, but he's a real alpha male. He's a real kick-ass kind of character, and of course, then
very powerful.
Very powerful.
He almost stole Sue Storm from Reed Richards.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They always had her as kind of like
triangle.
If I weren't with Reed, this guy's got the muscles. And he's rich. He's got the because Reed is like your typical nerd who views bodily functions as a necessary evil. Where whereas
terrible.
whereas
Namor's the bad guy. It was like the bad boy type.
They
actually did a comic series a few years ago.
Fonzie.
Yeah, they did a whole series where they went back in time. Kind of, I don't know if it was Marvel, the Ultimates line or whatever, but they did a mini series, maybe set where Sue had met Namor at one point, and then went off with Namor. And this isn't, I think, the Ultimates line where they did a whole series. And I think Mike didn't Sue go off with Namor at one point.
She did at one point in the Bronze. At one point in the Bronze Age, she left.
Right.
She left Reed for him for a while, and it was it was.
He did
a lot of animosity.
He did some sort of sciencey thing to her where she could breathe water.
Yep.
For a while, yeah. I like Claude's No More. That's Hail Claude.
That movie's so horrible.
Yeah, you hear it was. Oh, my memory worked. I got something right. It was Jay Lee. Yeah, so this was Namor and Sue Storm by Jay Lee. Yeah, when did this come out?
Wasn't that called 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yep, there you go.
Don't need no Namor.
Wow.
So yeah, they had it smoking affair. I mean, they showed how they had met At one point, they had him meeting his kids. I think in this
Look,
series.
look at the
Yeah,
way
it's
they have
stupid.
him posed in that doorway. Is that not a sexual pose? The curvature.
Yeah.
Not here. Yeah, it's you can hear that that saxophone music, or that bass music. Boom, 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 boom.
Let's face it. The more
George
he
Michael.
isn't, he's an a-hole and he's a lot of things, but he's he's not Doctor Doom. He's teamed up with Doctor Doom sometimes when their interests collided. So yeah,
Oh,
he's
really?
they did a
Yeah.
comic in the 70s called Super Villain Team Up, and he was always in it. I mean, he was often in it anyway. He's teamed up with Doctor Doom, but he's also
Yep,
been a member of the
Red Skull.
Avengers. So he's a
Ooh.
member. He's been with the Avengers. Of course, he was the original Defenders team.
Yep.
So he will fight. But I mean, he's also got a lot of nobility to him in the Daredevil #7, possibly the greatest comic of the Silver Age. Daredevil is forced to face off on him because everyone else is gone, and Daredevil has no superpowers. This is a guy that can slug it out with the Hulk and the Thing, and he wipes the floor with Daredevil. And Daredevil keeps on coming until he can't move no more, and he's beaten. And Namor sees him beaten down on the floor. He goes, he's about now the Daredevil's done. He's about to attack New York, and he goes, I have fought the Fantastic Four, the Avengers, and the Hulk, and yet none are more brave than you, the most vulnerable of them all. And so, to honor his opponent, who had no chance against him, the nobility of Daredevil impressed him so much, he stopped his attack on New York.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
Yep.
That's that's what they're missing from these modern stories. Nobody has that kind of valor anymore, except for Cap. Captain America is the only one that would lay down on the wire, and Superman should be that way.
Of course,
Superman is the guy who would die to save a planet of a race of people with whom he is not related at all. And that's what they're missing. They're just trying to make everything. And this is no respect to what you said earlier, Retro, but I think they're trying to always make everything bigger and louder. I don't think that's serving the purpose. I think you have to make people, in my opinion. So, in my study, I hate to bring up animation again. I don't want to be that guy. It's like a vegan. Hey,
what are you, an animator?
Are you gonna buy the 289 or the 302? Well, speaking as a vegan, I don't want to be that guy, but one of the things that I learned in studying was that when you see both a hero and a villain, a really good villain, you have to see somebody, or at least a part of somebody that you know. And if you don't, you're not going to relate to it, and it will strike you on an intellectual level, but not an emotional level. And if you go to any work of art, music, painting, movies, animation, comics, if it doesn't strike you on an emotional level, you'll forget it 5 minutes later.
Oh,
I just want to read this panel here. That's a great point. Yeah. So look how this panel, you get to know Namor just in these 5 panels. So it's a human, an invisible woman, and she's trying to steal the trumpet that's summons. What is that trumpet?
The big old monster. This was
the monster.
This was just Resurrection in the Silver Age, Fantastic Four #4 right here.
Yeah,
his name was Monstro, wasn't it, Clive?
Monstro. That's it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's what I remember. Yep. Seeing that her plight is hopeless, Sue Storm becomes visible again, and here's a prize worth catching. You're the loveliest human I've ever seen. If you will be my bride, I might show you mercy to the rest of your pitiful race. How can I make such a choice? And reads, you won't have to, Sue. We're here now. We'll never menace mankind again. You fools. I gave you your chance, but now, but it's like within 2 lines, he offers to marry. It's like, if you want to be my bride.
Been there.
Who you calling pitiful? Who you calling pitiful? You're half a human.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, are you talking to me? Listen there, Mr. Sparkle. You talking human?
That the thing that it's very similar to Daredevil. She's resisting him too.
And then in this point, look at this line. No, Prince Namor, you mustn't. I'll do anything. I'll become your bride. One life such as mine doesn't matter, but humanity must be spared. You speak as though you're sacrificing yourself. Don't you realize what an honor I offer you? You can become Princess Namora, bride of the Submariner, co-ruler of Earth. I mean, you got a good thing going here. And I'm pretty handsome too, right?
Arrogant.
So, I mean, how arrogant.
Unless somebody has a flamethrower.
I love stories like this. This is really fun.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
Yes,
but
it's classic.
there's nobility there. She's going to sacrifice herself just as Daredevil sacrificed himself. I mean, that's what makes for great drama.
That's
great
why we love
storytelling.
superhero stories, the nobility
Yeah.
and the
And
tragedy.
Nova did the same thing against the Sphinx, if you remember, in an early episode of Nova.
The Nova comic, yeah.
Nova Sphinx kept calling boy and kept smashing him down, and Nova kept getting up. And when he's there, Nova's just like unconscious and beaten to a pulp, and the Sphinx looks at him and says, I was wrong. This whole time I was calling you a boy. You're a man, even though he's a kid in high school, but he's willing to die. And that's what makes these characters heroes. It's not that they can fly,
I love superheroes.
turn into flames, or whatever their power.
Yeah, that's missing. That's totally missing from
Yeah, look at this list
the
on here.
element.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was gonna say,
Like
perhaps
Intel,
this is why you had so much feeling for you in the past. I had so much feeling for you in the past. Perhaps noble Namor, but it was in the past, and now you must go. I must return to fair Atlantis, where my subjects await their prince. Farewell, surface dwellers. Let the peace be kept. That's a later issue, but yeah, just look at Reed. Has got his head's popping up there, like what's happening? Yeah, that triangles, because you can see the smoke in this. The smoke in the water in this.
He's trying to get my blood pressure going. I hate Namor for this.
Yeah, but you should though. But you should though, right? I mean.
I just look. I'm a traditionalist when it comes to Fantastic
Oh,
Four.
I have that issue right there. The green face right
really?
there that you had. Yeah, I have that.
Oh, okay.
I love that cover, and I was
John Byrne. Yep,
the Byrne run there.
Yeah,
but that cover's not John Byrne, is it?
No, yeah. I mean, that's somewhere around the Byrne run. I mean,
I can tell by the character.
He didn't do the cover
in the upper left-hand corner. That's definitely a Byrne drawing. But
right, but he didn't draw the cover.
Yeah, he didn't do the cover. Yeah.
Doesn't look like it to me, but
well, yeah, they relaunched. That was the.
It was his run though. He started it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah.
But
so you have that comic. Did you have any other Submariner comics there?
I have some like random stuff that I thought was interesting, and I would just pick up some stuff. I'm starting to share some of that with my members over on my channel. So yeah, I'm actually finding I'm like, I have more stuff than I think I did before.
Nice.
Yeah, but no, you're right. Those that is why we like heroes. Those human stories, but also the small lessons, human lessons, like showing courage, and just moral values that don't actually like say, hey, you guys in the audience, you think like this, but this is what the journey of the characters are going through. And I don't know. I think, you're right. That is missing. That is totally missing, because right now it's about, character gets powers. Character is snarky and funny, and then they defeat the bad guy, and the bad guy has the exact same powers as he does, or she does.
Exactly.
And then there's a beam that comes from the sky, and that's basically the formula.
Right.
That's one thing. You hit on something that Marvel has a lot of mirror villains.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Skull has the same powers from the same source as Captain America, the Hulk and the Abomination, Thor, Loki. It goes on and on. But DC, and even though I slant more towards the Marvel, the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, these are in no way mirrors of Batman. Lex Luthor. Now there is Bizarro, but Lex Luthor, as great as a villain, is in no way a mirror, So, but I mean, I think that this is something that's really missing. Is people just don't understand that you got to have that. I guess people think that nobility is, and I know it's a corny sounding word, but I'm 172 years old, so I can use those words. But I think that people still, whether they want to admit it or not, because they're too cool, I think they still kind of crave that.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Yep. Oh, hey, Larry. Larry, as Raquel says. I can't
Larry. I agree with Jeff Geoff on that, though. Burns, I didn't like Burns' run on that comic.
I kind of like the idea of what they were going for. Yeah, I know. I guess he was trying to screw the surface world, I think. But
didn't get into it.
but it did get it was pretty popular back then. Did that last almost like 80 issues or 100 issues? I can't remember
I
that
guess.
run.
You know how
Yeah.
Prejudice I'm against Byrne right now.
I know.
So imagine how
yeah.
it was back then.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't buy
must
it.
have been going crazy, but
No,
yeah, it doesn't really
I
fit.
didn't buy it.
I hear you, Geoff, but I did kind of enjoy it though. I think they were just trying to switch things up, but yeah.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
I like a
so
lot of what Byrne does, but when he runs out of ideas, he tries to go for shock value.
He gets bored quickly. He'll take over a title and
Yeah.
that's one of my favorite covers, that Human Torch issue right there, even though it's a reprint. I
Which
always
one?
love Torch versus Subby.
Oh, there one. Yeah, yeah,
I always love that cover. But
yep.
yeah, he gets bored quickly. He'll take over a book after a year or two or so. He loses interest, but he's still making the good paycheck for the triple threat of writing, penciling, and inking, and he'll go on it forever.
Kills Kurt Swan's career, then gets bored of it.
Yeah, and he gets bored of that, and
Yeah.
at least he did FF for about 2.5 years till he got bored with that and went too long on it.
I don't think he got bored, Clobby. I think he ran out of ideas.
That's a good point.
I think he goes into these things. It's like, oh
That's
man, I
true.
have this great idea. If I can ever get on that book, but he's
Well,
only got the 1 or 2 ideas.
He's not a writer by trade. He was an artist who they were letting him write, whereas somebody did come into it that way. So he could come up with all these some good ideas for a while and then run out. Yes, I mean, for example, he actually is good at writing Star Trek. Believe it or not, when the 2000s, when he worked for IDW, did all those Star Trek comics. He's pretty good at that. But other comic characters up and down. So, yeah.
Well, I think it's like any writer. Yeah, you probably have highs and lows, and unless you're Jack Kirby, right? I mean,
every writer has those.
Yeah.
Although he was really good at plotting at times when he was plotting for Chris Claremont, when the X-Men was great.
Oh, this was the Marvel Ultimates. Yeah, I remember this cover. Yeah, so that's all the Ultimates.
That is
FF
disturbing.
was horrible. Yeah, just they made the Fantastic Four younger.
Nothing ultimate about that, in my opinion.
And that's what they based the Fan Four Stick movie on.
Does he have a man bun or something?
Yeah, well, I'm never gonna. Hey, any guy that can grow, I don't have enough hair to have a man bun anymore, so you gotta grow it. But it's like
Look at all those different looks of Sue. See that over there with all the different looks for her? They had done some crazy stuff with Sue.
Yeah, well, that was the Malice, and then Future Foundation, the original. Yep.
Yeah, I like the original.
Yeah, those people are like, "Who the heck is this?" This is when
that's
Psycho
Malice,
Man.
Though. That's not different.
That was Psycho Man.
Mark, can you take off the lower third for a second?
Oh, sure, yep.
I could do a man bun, but I refuse to.
Thank you.
Speaking as the only member of the group,
the Man Bun Club of America.
I think there are three. I think there are 3 letters too many in that phrase anyway.
Hey, Janet from another planet.
Hell, Janet.
Damn it, Janet, I love you. I hated the short sleeves here. When it comes to Fantastic Four fashion, I'm a total fashionista, I guess, but I hate when they screw around with their costumes. Look at that; they don't look right with short sleeves.
And plus, they're unstable molecules, so they would never overheat, right?
Right.
You don't need to have short sleeves, right?
Yeah. Greatness.
This is a controversial cover, Namor number 50.
Oh, I hated the ponytail. In the 90s, I'm like, all these ponytail boys running around in the 90s. That's so 90s.
Yeah, speaking again as the only long-haired guy here, I hate ponytails on men too.
It's just, I don't know, especially Namor looked really terrible with it. What the hell?
Who drew
that on his head?
I don't know.
I think in a few months my hair will be long enough to donate, and then Maddie's not going to know. I've seen videos of guys that shaved and cut their hair, and all of a sudden their children run away crying because
she's not going to know you. Yeah, she's not going to know you.
Anyway.
Well, I remember my mom dropped me off at a service project for Scouts for one of my buddies. I don't know if it was Harold. It doesn't matter who it was, but it could have been Harold in the chat. And she went and she got a perm, because in the 70s everyone had perms. We were getting perms. So and she had kind of curly hair, and I guess once you cut your hair and you do a perm, I don't know, what do I know about perms, but I guess your hair ends up being a lot shorter. So when she came to pick me up, I'm like, who's that strange woman driving my mom's car? It was like like a 9-year-old kid or a kid. I'm like, and I'm like, Mom, that's not you, is it? And she was crying because her hair, she like wanted to have like a long perm, I guess, kind of like Cher. And she would always go to, I'm writing my mom out now, but she would always go to the school, for hairdressers. You get your beauty school dropout haircut for like $5 or back then probably or something. So the girl cut her hair way too short when she gave her the perm. So she had like, no hair, and she was crying. I'm like, Mommy, is that you? Yeah. So yeah, but everyone in the '70s was getting perm. So yeah.
I would ask Retro here, since you're not super familiar with the character now. What look do you like? The basic look there in that comic, like when he's just got the speedo thingy, or the black costume that they get a little bit later that we're looking at. What do you think looks better?
Or none
you
of the
mean the
above.
one where he has the long hair and he's got that armor on?
You like that one?
Yeah, I did see that picture a long time ago, and I did like it a lot. It's like, who this?
I
Yeah.
I hear you.
That's the classic Speedo look there. Yeah.
Speedo.
But both of his outfits are villain colors.
Yeah.
Black and green are the villain colors.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's cool. I don't have any like real opinion on I didn't get into the comics that much. Yeah, I think I got into the comic a little bit, not a whole lot, because I didn't have a lot of money when he had the long hair and he had those pants there.
Like that there?
Yeah.
That was a ripoff of the Aquaman look that
Yeah.
DC was doing at the time, I think. Yeah.
Oh.
They made Aquaman look like that too for a while. Way
Yeah,
before.
Yeah.
Oh, was the storyline was because he was different in that one, because I was I bought the comic book and I was like expecting to see something of the classic Namor, and I was like, oh, so this is I thought maybe that was his son or something, and it was like it was him, but he was changed.
Yeah.
So I was really confused about that, and I didn't pursue the story much further than that. But I thought it was interesting. I just was missing a lot of information. So you
Right.
guys are giving me a good a good education about him tonight.
Well, he's a great character. He's a very respected character. I wish the people that made that movie would have respected him, because waits 80 years to get a movie and this happens to him. It's a shame,
Well, it's not the
Honestly.
character. I mean, I started watching it and I never went to the movie theater to see it, which is unusual for me. And I started watching the movie, and it's so depressing because God bless Chadwick Boseman.
Well,
I mean,
what they
such a
did to
fantastic-
T'Challa is so terrible.
yeah, fantastic actor. And I guess I just kind of
Great
skimmed it. When you have on stream, you can kind of skim through it, and that's so depressing, that first beginning half of the part of the movie. And I thought they should have, I guess they acted real quickly and said we're not going to recast him and honor the actor, but I have no way of knowing what the actor would feel about. But there's so many Black Panther stories to tell. So you're saying from now until the end of history, we're never going to tell another Black Panther story, which is such a shame. So I could have, what I thought they should have done, just have him maybe lost in the negative zone or the quantum realm or somewhere something happened, where you could, quote unquote, send the character away for a few years and then, rescue him. And then when the time is right and enough time has passed, recast the actor, and you honor the actor in the film. And, but they actually did, like a real funeral in the movie, which is just,
They opened the movie with a funeral. What a
my
talent.
son said it was so depressing. And, when he watched it, he didn't even, usually he's a comics casual fan, my son. And Eric, you're not listening now probably, but you better be doing homework. But yeah, he said it was real depressing. So I'm skimming through it, and then when Namor got introduced, it's just that's not Namor. I mean, it's just as a longtime comic fan, it's like if they wanted to do a character like that, like just make your own character a new superhero. Don't call him Namor. I mean, just do something different. And maybe you don't have to do the ocean dwelling, just make another superhero, another land or hidden land or something. But I just can't take it. I mean, I couldn't watch it. I mean, no offense to the actor or anyway, I just if I see Namor looking like that, I'm like, what the hell is going on? It's if you've been reading he's Marvel's oldest hero. Bill Everett created the character before his Marvel comics.
Excuse me, that's
but
the
it's
great
time-
Bill Everett.
The great
Yeah.
Bill Everett, yeah.
The great Bill
Fan-
Everett, yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's when I see that, I'm like, oh, I can't take it. I mean, so I don't know what they're gonna do with the FF, but this is what I want to see is
I do.
Namor. So
I know what they're gonna do.
So I mean, and I don't want to go down. We won't go down that road, but it's just it's what I don't like is when you get called something for not approving of something, which is totally different than as a fan of a character wanting to see
Mhm.
your character represented as more like he was written in the comic. So I kind of skimmed through the movie. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna
Luke Wilson.
watch it.
Luke
Yeah.
Wilson looks just like what they should have cast that guy. I know he's older, but he would have been the perfect Namor. Perfect.
Luke Wilson.
Yeah, we've looked at him before. His Namor. Yep.
Yeah,
not
seen
the
it.
actor. I do.
The
Owen
actor.
Wilson and his brother
Not,
Luke.
no.
He played Zeus in Immortals with Henry Cavill.
Okay, yeah, but there's an actor named Luke Wilson who's brothers with Owen, and a lot of people would think you're talking about him.
What is it? Luke Wilson? I'm thinking of.
That's a different guy. I know who you.
Luke Evans. Was it
Luke Evans? Luke Evans.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Hang on.
Luke
Let me.
Evans.
Let me. Yeah, Luke Evans. Sorry, I got my Lukes mixed up.
Oh, like 10 years ago.
Yeah, if you look at him, if you look at a picture of that guy and give him the pointed
hell
eyebrows
yeah.
and ears,
Yeah, he looks just like
he's
him.
Yeah,
just
that's
like
perfect.
him.
In
he's a
fact,
better-
I
and he's a
thought
better
that
actor.
this. Yeah, I thought that he was going to be cast as that. I'm surprised that that
They-
didn't happen.
It's like having Henry Cavill. It's such a no-brainer to have Henry Cavill be 007. So
yeah.
naturally, they're not.
Yes.
So
They won't
naturally,
do
they're
it.
not going to do it.
Yeah, obviously.
And there was another Asian.
It's too easy.
Yeah, and there was another Asian actor. I can't remember the name too. That they were talking about. Some of the fan casting.
Mhm.
That
Yeah.
guy, and I'm forgetting the actor's name, but they did this kind of thing where they put the actor. They kind of put the actor on the Namor costume, and
Look at that.
I'm trying to remember the actor's name,
Luke,
but
I don't
that's
think Luke is
perfect.
too old to play him either.
No.
And these days, you could de-age somebody anyway. With digitally, if you want. They do that all the time. So, but yeah, he's perfect. He's a good actor. He's in shape.
Yeah.
He'd have been perfect. But what
Harold,
do we?
Mark
what do
not
we?
loving a comic book movie. Where's Mark, and what have you done to him? Yeah, yeah. So, it's just
Yeah.
inconceivable, as they say, right?
Inconceivable.
All right, we got to play that clip then,
I
right?
can
That's
clearly
always
not choose the wine. Yeah, sorry.
that's always at the top of the list. I gotta have that on the
You
top
have
of the
the
list.
impression down.
There we-
Inconceivable. 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 You keep using the word. I do not think it means what you think it means.
I love
Right?
it.
Yeah. Who doesn't love Wallace Shawn?
Yeah. Yeah, you do a fantastic impression. I like it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm no Klobby, but I do a couple. But, yeah.
This is the person I was thinking of. I think.
Okay,
Yeah, I
yes,
forget the
he
actor's name.
Yeah, it looks very close.
Yeah, yeah.
He's better, and he's in shape already.
But I think
I'm not-
more of the problem
not-
is
Sorry, go ahead.
it was just the way the character's written, right? Versus who was the fan casting. If the
Yeah.
character's written well,
Yeah.
anyone can play the character if they're a great actor. As fans, we always have fun fan casting that we
Yeah,
we think
the guy that played Iron Fist. People say, "Oh, his acting was so horrible." His acting was not horrible. The part was horrible. They made him a whiny little bee, and now he should have gotten in shape, but but yeah, it's writing, and it's an engaging character, even if it's a villain. A villain can be engaging, even if you hate them. You can still love seeing the villain.
Yep.
You know,
No, I got to
Yeah.
mention now, since I have two of my friends that were there on my birthday on June 17th to go see the Green Lantern movie, Phantom saying, so Mark will defend a Green Lantern, but no one can defend what they did to Namor. But yeah, so this is for Harold and Jeff, who were there that night, and so this is some. So what movie we're seeing? Green Lantern. So that's me as Cap there. So yeah, so getting in big trouble there. So Jeff and Harold were there that night. So thank you for sticking with me for my birthday. And they
Do you
didn't
still-
take their presents back.
Do you still defend that movie, Mark?
I try to sometimes, but it doesn't
Okay.
usually end that well. Ash
Well, good night,
did a
everybody.
whole show.
Good night.
Ash did a whole show on trying to, and at the end, like up, I think Clobber and Dunsigo, people said, "Well, you almost got me to say a good thing about a movie." Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, Harold says it was a terrible movie, and you made us watch it because friends. Yeah,
And you know,
it was my birthday too. It was my birthday.
It
so.
was not bad casting. Ryan Reynolds did a great job with a terrible part. I mean, he just wrote it badly, and the villain was god awful. You know,
Well,
you know, the space cloud with, you know.
It should
Oh,
have
the
been
Space Cloud.
Sinestro. Just bring him on.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, totally. And boy, was that Mark Strong was great.
Yeah,
as
he's
Sinestro,
fantastic.
you know?
And he could also play. He could have also played a Namor. He's got
Oh, yeah,
that,
totally.
that face for it.
And also the voice. You know, I could still hear in my head him saying, "Well done, Green Lantern." You know, I mean, his voice just had
Yes.
power and, you know, like majesty to it. Not to sound corny and cheesy and comic booky, but yeah.
No, you
Well,
need somebody with that kind of voice to carry off, you know, the gravity of the character. You can't just like have somebody with a weak, squeaky voice like me saying something, you know, deadly. It's like, yeah, sure, we're in trouble. You need somebody like Mark Strong that with a nice bass, you know.
Yeah. I mean,
But and of course you really want to save Sinestro for down the line, I think. But you need to have a couple of good movies to start with, and then have him go over to the dark side, or the yellow side, should I say?
I
Yeah.
think I agree with Nerd Girl. I think they should have started with him because Green Lantern does not have a lot of interesting villains. Sinestro is his, you know, that's his Joker. That's his Lex Luthor. I mean, Claudia, am I wrong?
I think he had to step away for a
Oh,
second.
did Claudia step out?
Well,
Yep.
the reason why I said that too is that they really only had one shot at this, so you might as
Exactly.
well,
Yeah.
you know, go all out, and then the next time, if you do get it next time, then you know, you can ramp it up a little bit more. But these, unfortunately, that story, and I really loved seeing Green Lantern. Period. I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe we're watching a Green Lantern movie, and unfortunately, it just didn't have the impact, the punch. Things were looking too goofy, and it breaks my heart. It really does, because I really wanted that film to succeed, and I watch it on occasion. It's just not a great movie, unfortunately, but I do. It's a guilty pleasure of mine.
I know what you mean.
I wish we had more of the Green Lantern Corps too, and that
Me
part was all
too.
short shrift there too, where they were too much on Earth, and then he had his obligatory training sequence. Cue the Rocky music that lasts 5
Yeah.
minutes, and
That's the thing.
you know-
Is even as goofy as that is, that's the only thing you let yourself enjoy it a little bit, because you get to see they don't do it great, but you get to see Kilowog
Kilowog. Oh, I love Kilowog.
a little bit.
Yeah.
See,
I love Kilowog.
I think they should have left the Green Lantern Corps for a second movie. To me, it's like the Spider-Man 3 thing, where you have too many characters and you can't really, fall in love with any of them.
Well, it was
I think
such
you
a
should limit it
mishmash
that.
too, because they didn't give you. If they're going to go there, give us the core, then, right? You just to go there and tease you for 5 minutes of the movie, and see all that cool stuff, and then not get to experience it. That was kind of a bummer. So, you could have maybe done it with flashbacks, I think, showing how
Oh,
he
yeah.
got trained.
That might
Maybe
be.
that would have worked.
Yeah, maybe that would have worked. Because yeah, the worst part of it though was definitely the cloud monster because
Yeah.
this guy we spent so much time with him, and for him to most of the time be sort of it was really painful to watch him
Yeah.
on screen, to be honest.
It was so bad.
And yeah, and I really wanted there's so much story to tell this. I mean, if anybody can really get this story for Green Lanterns and take it to the next level, this is it is its own chapter of like Star Wars level, like world building. There's so much to tell, and they haven't even scratched the surface of it yet, ever. You know, so
Yeah.
it's
This absolutely. This thing
Watch
here,
First
this
Flight.
was First Flight was a tragedy because
Yeah.
I love the animation in it. There's so many things that got wrong with the origin and the writing of the character pissed me off so much. It's still worth watching. But they botched so much with Sinestro and a lot of the things they did with the origin makes me insane. I remember I watched it and got mad the first time. Then went years without seeing it. And then Loki and I reviewed it about a year or two ago. And I watched it again. I said, I think I liked that. Did I like that? And I remember why it didn't push me off that much, did it? And then go back. I'm like, "Argh, so much wrong with it. Frustrating from as a Green Lantern fanatic. But
Well, the
Emerald
Green
Knight,
Lantern HBO series is fantastic.
no, that was a Cartoon Network series. It lasted 26
Yeah.
episodes. But Green
Was
Arrow,
Cartoon Network or?
Green Lantern Emerald Knights was fantastic. With Nathan Fillion doing the voice of GL.
Was that the series or was that the
Green Lantern series lasted 26 episodes. It was a 3D animation. It was
the 3D one. This one, yeah.
that was on
DC
Cartoon
Kids.
Network.
Okay, that was Cartoon Network. Maybe I watched it on it. You know what? I probably
lo-
watched it again. Probably watched it on HBO
So
good.
or the
Is that
DC
good?
package. It's
I love
fantastic.
it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That was
I gotta
really
tell you,
good.
Retro, I prefer the 2D animation to this kind of animation. This takes a little bit of getting used to me at first, but it's just, and again, they change things here and there, but for the most part, this is a wonderful ride. It's short because there's only 26 episodes, 26. But if you love the character of Green Lantern, I think you might enjoy it if you like animation and stuff like that, which I loved it. I love it.
Well, I guess
I'm
you
about to
can
go back
watch
and start
this
to watch it again.
I guess you can watch it on the YouTubes for free. It looks like
You're kidding me.
DC Kids. I'm worried. I don't want to play it because I don't want to get zapped. But
It's on
looks like it's
HBO Max, but
well, it looks like
Just
Green
click in the-
Lantern and
Click,
New
click in the
Lantern
middle
is
of the
born.
timeline. Click in the middle of the timeline, Mark.
Oh, it's 3 minutes. Oh,
It's only 3 minutes. Yeah.
Only 3
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
I loved it.
So-
It was. Weren't you so aggravated when that thing got canceled so quickly?
There's Kilowog, yeah. So they did a nice, and it's kind of like Star Trek in space in some ways too. The ship
There's a Trek element.
becomes a great character. Becomes a great character.
Oh cool.
There's a Red Lantern that's involved that becomes a really good character.
I finally got used to
AI.
him.
That's
That's
another great
IO.
character.
I got used to her. She's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything about her because of spoilers, but
Yeah.
worth really well done series.
I'm gonna say some people don't like that kind of art style. I mean, it works for me fine enough if, for the story. And
Yeah,
Kilowog's great, and of course it's got Hal.
and cool
No
animation.
substitutes.
Yep. So that's definitely a good one to watch. Yeah.
Right. And they really are
and
out in space, deep space. So it's that's great.
We're getting an HBO series, I guess, with
Oh yeah.
we're gonna get Guy Gardner. It looks like,
Mm,
and we're getting Jessica Cruz.
no, what?
And,
Okay,
Oh, Matthew Pounder's here. Was Matthew just got here?
Matthew.
Hey, Matthew Pounder. Hail.
But
Yeah.
the
Go.
Emerald Knights, the other animated movie they did that's similar to the animation style to First Flight, is fantastic.
Okay. That's
Have
your
you seen-
favorite?
Have you seen this one, Retro?
I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
No, I
Retro,
haven't
you
seen
did.
this one.
It's one interconnected story, but a string of short stories leading up to it about the various different Green Lanterns and stuff. It's brilliant.
Ooh.
It's really good.
Oh, I can't wait.
I think you'd enjoy this one. Yeah, I love
That
it.
must be on HBO Max, I'm guessing.
Might
yeah,
be.
or-
I don't know if you have HBO Max, Retro.
Yes,
But
I have it. Yeah.
it might be on there. I think it is.
It's got to be
Yeah,
on there.
sure.
Yeah. So the old DC, what did they call that old DC show?
DC app.
Or DC app or whatever. Yeah, you could get every DC
Universe.
comic practically. Yeah, DC Universe. Thank you. Every comic.
It's still up there. I used to have
ton
it
of
for a while.
comics. Yeah. So it was, you know how Marvel Comics is Marvel Unlimited. You could read a lot of the comics. This had comics and then also the videos too, or movies.
But now we
It's
have a place where you
fantastic.
can read every comic ever made for free on the internet now. So.
Wow.
Yeah, but this was through quote unquote legal paid offerings. But
I
it was
think
a
this
nice.
one's legal. To be honest with you, because they don't do anything about it.
Well, I think it's.
It pops up in Google searches, dude.
I know, but I think it's probably not too happy about it, considering they want. I'm guessing.
Like if you like say you search for information on a comic, I want to know what happened in Fantastic Four number one. If you just like Fantastic Four number 150 or what, for example, right?
Yeah,
it'll come up and it'll be a thing that says read online next to it sometime. Yeah, and it'll bring you right to this site. That's all I'm saying, folks.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like Napster of comics, I guess. Yeah, I'm guessing they're not. It's a little bit. So, but anyway, it's that was a great service from DC because you got the comics and the app, and then the videos,
shows, but not anymore shows.
Yeah,
HBO.
They had the Shazam TV show from the 70s. Yep.
I wanted to watch some of that again, and it wasn't on HBO Max. You got it. That's another thing. They've got that movie out there, right? This out in the theater right now, and they have the first movie on HBO Max, I think, but they don't put the old Shazam TV show on there.
Yeah, know what happened? It's a rights issue.
No,
yeah, because they made a big deal of it on when it came into the DC Unlimited, DC Universe. It was like we've restored Shazam.
Yeah. It ain't a rights issue. It's just a stupid issue.
And they had it on there.
Yeah.
So and I know Steve Mitchum would love that. Yeah, I'm sure he has the Blu-ray for the new Shazam.
I do. Yeah. Nerd Girl. That's how I got into all this. There was a TV show back before you were born called Shazam with a guy named Jackson Bostwick and later a guy named John Davey, who I got to know and became friends with. Great guy. So it holds a special place in my heart. So, and Jeffrey, I believe, is going to bed now, along with Harold Ellis. So good night, gentlemen.
You got a job, Jeff? Good night.
Good night.
Thanks, buddies. But you, Jeff, you got a job? What? Come on! I thought you were retired. Come on, where are you working now? He's just joking.
Oh, look, there's Jackson Bostwick right there.
There he is. Yeah,
on the search. Yeah,
there he is.
Yep.
Oh, I should have done. I do Captain Marvel in my brain. I'm just like
Captain
Marvel TV show. I don't think. Now, Ms. Marvel was a fantastic character back in the 70s and 80s. I love reading Ms. Marvel.
And with that, I'm going to bow out. I'm going to bow as soon as you get done talking. I can't stand Ms. Marvel.
Oh, I love Ms. Marvel.
I can't stand
the old 70s, the old 70s stuff.
I don't like anything from Marvel that has the word Marvel in it.
All right. Well, I thought Warbird was a pretty cool character too in the Thunderbolts, but that was a far different character than the later Captain Marvel.
Well, at least on this show, they could call him Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And Jackson did look very good in the costume. You know, he was back in the 70s. There weren't a whole lot of guys with muscles out there.
Yeah.
You know,
that's for sure.
Muscles really on a big thing until the 90s.
Yeah. So after
I'm kidding.
After the Incredible Hulk TV show, which people forget predates Arnold's movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that's my buddy John. I call him my buddy. That's friendly acquaintance. Let's put it that way. We talk. He's always sending me messages about how cute Maddie is and stuff. But really, really good guy. That's him there. He was Joe Frazier's sparring partner.
Wow, the second Captain Marvel.
Professional boxer. He must be about 6'4". He was a Marine.
By the way, you talk about the guy on the right. Everybody standing next to ISIS. Now that's
I
Jackson.
just switched.
The larger
That's Jack.
picture, yeah.
That's
yeah.
Jackson right there.
Jackson has the Elvis sideburns. Actually, I guess they kind of. For those of you who are not young enough to know, in the 70s, it was a major fashion faux pas to have your ears showing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Never
That's
wanted to have your issue.
Yeah, that's
Like to us, we'll look at Billy Batson. You can find a picture of Michael Gray there as Billy Batson. If you scroll down a little bit, there's one more. He's right below.
Lots of hair there.
he had the best.
Wow.
He had the best cameo in the new movie and the
And
best line.
Today we look at that and we go, "Wow, what was up with this guy's hair?" But back then, that was the cool hairstyle. If you didn't have that parted down the center with the ears covered, you were a nerd, geek, or whatever. So,
but except I asked for a haircut in the 70s when I was about 10 years old, and someone came over to my dad and said, "How old is your daughter?" Like, Mom, I need a haircut. I need a haircut.
Mark, I've been in more than one place where a waitress came up from behind me when I was and said, "What can I get you ladies to start with?" And I immediately go, "Oh, I'll just have some water and a beer. I'll have a beer and a dirty mug."
And then if you're gonna bow out, oh no, go for it. Yeah, no, thank you for being
I'll stick
here.
around for the Shazam stuff. That's Shazam is my jam.
So this is also definitely worth watching. Retro Nerd Girl, and I should do a watch. Someone should do a watch party on this with the serials because they're in public domain. So
6
I
hours.
I assume it's safe to do, but this is a classic old serial.
Only takes 6 hours.
Adventures of Captain Marvel. 1941.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah, it's great. This is probably the best serial they ever did. The movie serial.
He does some stuff like he was kind of a very acrobatic guy. So he does a backflip. He does a backflip and kicks two guys. But when he grabs the machine gun and mows out a bunch of fleeing people in a machine gun, is that really heroic? Let God be the judge.
It was early in the golden age, but yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the black and white Batman serial, or Batman's using racial slurs for the Japanese people left and right, which kind of was normal back then. They did the same with us. And then Captain America with a gun and no shield and no powers. DA. So they've always been pretty bad. Yeah, but from that time, this is probably you're right. This is probably the most faithful to the comics.
Right.
There's Shazam.
Yep.
The Wizard. But it holds up. It holds up really well as I rewatch, and I bought the Blu-ray, so it's available on Blu-ray, so you can buy it. Even though it's a serial, public domain, but I recommend buying the Blu-ray. Let me see if it's a Captain Marvel.
It's also on YouTube, but the quality, it's gonna be compressed.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you're.
Lorber, I think, did it. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here.
Who?
The company. Captain Marvel serial. Would be again.
I'd love a bowl of Captain Marvel cereal right about now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So here we go. I'll put that link in the chat there. Yep.
How much is that?
So this, I think I got it for around $20. Oh, $16 on Amazon. Yep. It's definitely worth buying, even for the quality that you get and the sound, even though you can. Especially, it's good. I mean, it's damn good. So
one of the best of the cereals. Superman cereals are pretty good too.
Yeah, with Kirk Allen, they were pretty good. I mean, the technology for the time, Retro Girl. If you haven't seen the Kirk Allen Superman serials,
they're pretty cool.
They are very cool. The flying scenes are done with animation, though. He turns into a cartoon.
Yeah, but he goes to take off flying.
I've seen them.
Okay, yeah. So I mean,
they're great.
Yeah,
flying really wasn't until Christopher Reeve's Superman came along. Flying was never really
easy to do. It didn't look good.
Yeah, they're limited by the technology and the budget, So,
and we met him. We got to hang out with Kirk Allen, 1988, in BR.
That's really cool. He was probably a really great guy, wasn't he?
You weren't there at the time. You were in town.
No, I was there for
Swamp Gone.
No, I was there. You're thinking of Burt Ward and Adam West.
I know, but it was right after I opened up my comic shop, and it was right when Killing Joke came out. I guess you didn't go to the con.
I did not. No, I wasn't invited.
It was a con. Everybody was invited. If you go,
I didn't know anything about cons.
I had a table there, and I got to hang out with Kirk Allen the whole time. Got him to sign this book for me, and I bought the serials from him, VHS copies.
Oh wow!
It was great.
Nice. Yeah. Well, here, let's play the
Nerd
trailer.
Girl,
I think we're pretty safe to play this trailer for Captain Marvel.
Don't let me forget about. I'm going to ask.
I love it.
Yeah. Shazam!
You got to have a gong back in the black and white era.
Yep. Yeah, there's 12 serials. Yep.
Take about 6 hours to watch them all.
Yeah.
Bulletproof. Yep. Yeah.
Throw that guy.
This is strong. I mean, he really throws the guy though.
They didn't. Yeah, they had no special effect for that back then. That was him doing that.
It looks good.
Yeah.
And the scorpion.
That's
Yeah.
what we had. Should have been Dr. Savannah.
I like where they put the scorpions.
On the inside of molten rock. No, even Captain Marvel can survive that.
Yeah. Yeah. There we go.
Say your word.
Here's the-
Nice sound effect too.
That was great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love when he flies.
Here's the fly. Look at the flying. How great it was.
Oh, I know what they did there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
They have like
A
a
dummy.
dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it looks
and
great.
Yeah, it looks
Balsa-
fantastic.
Balsa would card out on a wire. Yeah. It looked better
Yeah.
than some of the Superman.
That shouldn't hurt him.
That shouldn't hurt him at all. Yeah.
But it was
Oh.
every day.
Oh,
Amazing.
It's like when the Superman TV show when the guy ran out of bullets, he threw the gun at Superman and he ducked for some reason.
Well, look how good that looks. I mean,
that
It
looks
looks pretty
great.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for the
looks-
time.
It,
No,
it
look-
must be
look
there was
great.
like a team of two guys that came up with that. I
Mhm.
forgot their names and I forgot what show it was, but I think it was like the precursor to the Rocketeer. And they came up with that idea and they were using it for all the serials back then.
Yep. King of the Rocket Men.
Yes.
Wait. Go back. Can you go back to the still of Captain Marvel that you saw? One more. Or
well, I don't know which
that,
order now.
that one's close enough. So this costume was actually reused in the Superman TV show. This guy, one of the Kryptonians wore this costume.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Interesting. Yep.
yeah. So if you ever watched the first, I think it was the first episode where they have his origin. you'll
origin.
see one of the Kryptonians is wearing Captain Marvel's costume.
I like how they used CC Beck art for that poster.
Yeah. So
Right there.
Um,
yeah.
before I wanted to retro since you're all about retro. Have you ever seen or heard of the Secrets of Isis?
Yes.
Okay.
Cool.
I was maybe a little too. I was probably a little too small to.
You're in negative years at that point. Yeah.
No,
No, really? Well,
I was.
Now Jennifer, what's her name from the Hunger Games?
This was from the 70s, right?
Yeah.
70s, yeah.
Late
Yeah, I
70s,
was
mid-70s.
definitely. I was
Oh.
born in 1970.
Oh my God.
What's her name from the Hunger Games? Jennifer.
I know- I should-
Jennifer
Jennifer
Lawrence.
Aniston.
Yeah, she
Jennifer
was
Lawrence.
Jennifer Lopez. Yeah, Jennifer. Yeah.
Lawrence.
Yeah, she was talking about she was the first like action star. I'm like, yeah, if Joanna Cameron was still alive, I think she would have something to say about that too. She was even before Wonder Woman.
I thought
Oh,
Wonder
yeah.
Woman
That's
was
true.
on
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was great. She was like,
Well,
yeah, she was lovely.
well, they did have.
Beautiful.
Didn't they have a Wonder Woman with Kathy Lee Crosby?
yes,
pilot
there
that
was a
never got
pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah, with blonde
Pilot.
hair. Yeah. Yep.
But cut her
She was
month
more
of
like
month.
a.
Hmm?
Oh, she was more like a spy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yep.
Well, they
people
just
don't-
did the pilot of that, I guess. Yeah.
it aired though. It was an aired pilot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yes,
good.
it did. Yeah, and then they retooled it because it didn't do that well. But people don't want to see a blonde Wonder Woman.
No.
Yeah,
You know,
no.
speaking as a
We should have
blonde,
dyed her hair.
I don't want to see a blonde Wonder Woman. I think Linda Carter was a good way to go. You know, tall, beautiful. You know, good actress. Lots of charisma.
Oh yeah,
Wonderful.
Everybody
I love
loved
her.
her. Men loved her for obvious reasons. Women loved her too. Women
Yeah.
never got catty about Linda Carter. If you
Why
think
would,
about it,
yeah, there's no reason to. She's amazing.
yeah. And,
Yep.
she was in Vegas a couple of years ago for a slot machine thing, and I talked to some people who met her, and they said she's just sweet as she can be. So anyway,
Don't
so
get
with
on
that,
Wonder Woman's bad side. All right, you're gonna head out.
I am going to head out. So
Maddie's daddy.
thank you for having me, and
Yeah, it's so good to see you again and be able to chat with you.
yeah, and I've been enjoying I've been watching some of your shows. You may have seen some of my comments that I dropped. Really been enjoying
Yes.
watching your previous streams, and so I love you have some
Watch
very
parties,
great
yep.
ones. I haven't been able to do the watch parties because I've usually been at work or I'll have Maddie or something. But I want to join in on one. You know,
6
especially
p.m. Saturdays, right? Retro youth
Yeah,
normally.
5 p.m. Saturdays.
5 p.m. your time.
Central.
Yep.
Yeah,
no, wait. Which time zone are you in, Retro? You're in
Central.
Oh, it
Yeah.
would be 5 my time. Okay. Well, I want to do the next one because you know, as Mark alluded to, I'm a vegan. No, I'm an animator, and I kind of live for this stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah. So Harryhausen, if you're an animator, Harryhausen's like one of your gods.
Well, you just did. Which Sinbad did you do this weekend? I was out, but you did
It
Golden.
was Golden. Yeah, it was the
Golden, right?
last of the Sinbads, but the one next week I forgot which one I'm doing, but it is another Harryhausen. Giant, Jack the Giant Killer.
No, cool.
I've never
Cool,
seen
yeah.
that one.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it's Harryhausen, but it's one of those old fantasy ones that just I adore so much.
I've got my 2-year-old this weekend, so I may or may not. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see if I can join in for a little bit.
Okay,
But you know, she takes my full time because she's 2.
absolutely.
You can
Daddy,
watch that movie too, right?
Daddy, can you pick me up? Oh, honey, I'm cutting with a sharp knife and I got boiling water. Pick me up. I'm just kidding. The only whiner in this house has a beard. Thank you so much, everybody. And the chat, hail to you all. I love this. Is one of my favorite streams, and I'm just so glad I get to be a part of it.
I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Always a great
Awesome.
time, and even if you don't like, you know, that Green Lantern movie, that's okay. You're
Well,
probably right.
I would just say, never go in against the Sicilian when death is on the line. Good night, all.
Oh, there's the link, Steve. If you click on, and everyone in
Take
the
it easy,
chat,
buddy.
click on that link. Take care. You can. I know
Good to
Steve
see you,
doesn't
man.
get notifications yet, so
Oh, well, thank you.
there you go. Everyone's. It's always good to go to YouTube and then click notify me because then at least pops up, or you can at least click on the click on there to, you know. Sometimes you miss things that are, you know, you're like, oh, dread, I missed that stream, and you know you can always go back and watch the watch party after, but it's always fun to be in there live if you can when it's going on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sorry, misspoke there, hungry boy. No, it's not. It's not Jack. It's not Ray Harryhausen. Might be Jim Danforth though. It's not Ray
Let's
Harryhausen.
see. We'll check here. So
It's not. It might be Jim Danforth though. He worked with Harryhausen, but it is not Harryhausen.
Probably some cool effects, I'm sure, though, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Jack the Giant Killer, 1962.
Yeah, I don't think there are any like actual.
Let's see.
It's
I
in
think I've
it's in
seen
that
it.
field, but
Didn't
it's in
MST3K do that one? Good. I'm sorry. Good.
oh no, I was just gonna say it's in that same like genre and
Yeah.
of that kind of like sword and sorcerer sword and fantasy creatures. But I don't think this one was Harryhausen, but it's got a lot of the same flavors.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the Riff Tracks version.
It's a palate cleanser after you've had a month of Harryhausen Sinbad movies.
No, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
then I'm gonna be doing Flash Gordon movies.
Oh,
Cool.
Yeah.
the serials.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do the first two movies that are basically a compact of certain sections of the serials.
Buster Crab.
Yep, those
Nice.
ones. And the first one is Rocket Ship, and the next one
Yeah.
is the Deadly Rays from Mars. And then after that, I'm going to review. I'm sorry, I'm going to do a watch party for the 1980 movie. It's
Nice.
a lot of that's just a classic, kitschy sci-fi that's just puts a smile on your face, makes you feel happy.
Nice. Well, I love Buster Crab about Flash Gordon's first one.
Oh.
Flash Gordon, and it was Flash Gordon's Trip to Mars or something was the whole. I think that, and then it was Conquers the Universe was the third of the serials. But they did. You got movieized versions. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another one, Deadly Purple Death or something.
The Purple Death. That's one of the movies.
Yeah,
I think that's taken from Conquers the Universe, but I'm not sure.
Yes, there's quite a few titles out there. I don't know what they are all, but I picked the two that I was most familiar with.
Cool. I love Buster
Well, this
Crab.
is interesting to hear about too. They when they released it, the Columbia Pictures, which released Seven Voyages in Bed, threatened to sue Small. So the original print, so then they turned into a musical. That's interesting. Yep. Re-edited and re-released as a musical by producer Edward Small. Wow. And then but what were they going to sue over? I guess I wonder what they were going to sue him for. Interesting.
Probably. Well, they have the same Seventh Voyage in this movie has the same actor in it.
Okay.
Sherwood Matthews.
And so, I think that's his name. Yes, Curran. And then, there is some stop motion in it, and I guess they were trying to stronghold the whole industry, I guess, with stop motion, but anybody can do stop motion.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, but now we've got the original version, which is, I'm sure, a lot better than the although maybe the musical was good, but you never know. But interesting. Yeah, so it'll be fun to. I don't know if I've ever seen this before. I'm guessing I probably haven't. Just watching the old monster. Saturday afternoon. Fantasy movie. Back on the day. Wonder, my memory gets so bad, but yeah, look at that, like cool stop motion. Yeah. So, yeah.
My memory might be playing tricks on me, but I used to, for years, my son and I always went to see Riff Tracks live when they would broadcast the Riff Tracks to the movie theaters, and as a Riff Track event, and I think this was one of them.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Fairly, I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, Danforth was good, but Danforth worked for Harryhausen at one point, I believe. Hungry Boy. He did. Danforth, I think, did When Dinosaurs Ruled the Earth and a couple of other things, but he wasn't. It was like he was good, but he wasn't Harryhausen.
Yeah.
Here's the trailer. What I do sometimes is just stop at certain points so we don't get zapparood.
Yeah, I mean, as a fantasy lover, which I am, I just love all of the different images and concepts they had for this story. I just adored it so much, and they were limited by everything that they could do, and they did accomplish an interesting movie at least, and it may be silly to some people, but I
Looks
enjoy
interesting.
that. Yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy the fantasy element they try to provide for us. This is a good one. The other one that I really love that I'm going to try to not review, but do a watch party for at some point is The Magic Sword. I don't know if you guys have seen that one, and that one has a very good storyline too. A very interesting one.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, look at that.
There's the evil
That's
wizard.
really wild, right? That's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, Forbidden Planet did that too with some animation on top of the movie, on top of the movie,
Yeah,
on the frames. Yep. So they would go through. That's I'm guessing with that. Oh yeah. So he's turning into. We'll
a
play a couple
dragon.
seconds. Yeah. I mean, well, it's not CGI, but back then as a kid, you'd be like, "Oh, that's so cool." I mean,
Yeah.
it's a
I mean,
never-ending dragon.
and I think especially when if you see this as a child, your brain can accept those concepts.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Yeah,
real, but it is, they're doing something here that's fantasy. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's very cool. Yep. Yep. Well, the other thing I wanted to talk about a little bit was Last of Us. I don't know if anyone's seen that.
No, I
I did
haven't.
watch some of
haven't
that. You
Mm-mm.
haven't seen that? Do you like the zombie?
Well,
Uh,
I'm gonna, yeah, the thing is, I am like really afraid of zombies. It's a weird
okay.
one. And I'm afraid of some of the pictures that they have of the zombies with
Yeah.
the thing with the
Well,
mushrooms. That's really freaks me out.
yeah.
So
Well, I have
I
to
try
say,
to.
so far, I'm through 5 episodes, I think. Um, last of Us means I can make food and eat now. Well, don't go away totally hungry,
Oh
boy.
boy!
Yep. I'm
Wow,
gonna
HB.
scare away part. But I
Everybody's a
guess he
critic,
can.
right?
I guess he can. No, he can. He's gonna eat while he listens. I guess, right? Yeah,
No, I
which
mean,
is
at least I
okay.
didn't insult you or anything like Hungry Boy
Yeah,
did.
yeah. Well, this is a super popular show right now, which doesn't mean it's good, but I've been
Right.
enjoying it, and I do like the zombie. I mean, can get played to death. I loved. Uh, I did stop watching the show, the Kirkland. The Walking Dead.
The
But I
Kirkman, yeah.
read most of the
Mm.
comics, and when that comic was coming out, it was like that was on the pile of don't miss that. That's the top of the stack. But I have to say, the violence in this one through episode 6. Let me see how many episodes. I we can do the episode synopsis. I know Clobber Times. You don't watch this kind of stuff either, normally, right?
I'm with retro on that. I don't really. I mean, I read the Walking Dead comic a lot.
Yeah,
Way back then, for some reason, a buddy had talked me into it. It was a good comic for a while, but I don't like. That's one thing to read in a comic book. I don't really like to see
yeah,
those. I don't like horror movies that much, and I didn't watch. I watched the first part of the first 5 episodes of the first season, and there's six in the first six. There's six. I didn't even bother to watch the last one. I just never got into it. Well, just me.
yes.
So,
So I did. Yeah, certain people like certain things, or yeah. So
yeah. Are they fast zombies or are they slow zombies?
they're they're variable zombies, yeah. And Hungry Boy
Mm.
says, "I ain't insulting or just ain't into mushrooms except for attacking the mushroom people."
I know you're not insulting. I'm just messing with you.
Yeah, we're just teasing you, buddy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
messing with HP.
yeah. We're too. Yeah, you can go make clam pizza right now.
Oh
But
God, Jesus.
God, why did you do that? um, but this actress is really good. Bella Ramsey's been good, and I have to say it's not uberly graphic. I was trying to get the missus to watch with me, and
Oh,
she's like, "I
okay.
don't think I can do it." I mean, that's not to say that there aren't some kind of graphic scenes in it, but it's not Walking Dead graphic. I mean, I stopped watching Walking Dead. It just got too dark and depressing. Even though I knew what was happening in the comic. Spoiler alert: everyone knows what happens to Glenn, and when Negan comes in and takes him out, and it's going to happen. I just didn't want to see it, and it was just so horrific. And that's part of that's his character. But I just couldn't take. And I was at a point in my life too where other things are going on, and I just I need something that's uplifting him. It's just so
Yeah,
seeing a whole world that's been destroyed.
the
So
depressing stuff just doesn't work with me that much. I don't really like it. I
yeah.
hear you.
So the premise for this episode, the show, if people will like it, probably I think have watched it or gotten into it. It's massive hit right now, I believe, in terms of the ratings. So there's fungus that can take over creatures, and you've seen those zombie ants, and you've seen that. So the idea is that this type of fungus gets into the food supply or gets into it starts infecting people, and it really is something that happens in nature, and the fungus takes control and zombifies animals and creatures. So I think it's mainly insects that get zombified. I've seen, in real life. I don't know if it does it to actual mammal. Well, it can't be. I can't. I guess I can't do it to mammals. Or I'm not a. I only stay in Holiday Inns or Marriott's. I don't. I don't know all the ins and outs of the biology, but the idea is that this, naturally occurring, parasites, something changes, they evolve, or so they can affect mammals now. So it's kind of got an interesting basis in nature in terms of something. There's some scientists in the beginning, and minor spoiler, like she finds out what's happening, and they realize that these people that have been infected have been infecting other people, and she said, what can we do? She's like, tell the Air Force to bomb the city, burn the city down. And she's like, I'm going to spend the last few hours with my daughter, because it's just so catastrophic. So of course it's the the world ending, and the show, it's been about zombie ant fungus. Yep. So I'll try to find a picture of zombie ant fungus.
Oh no, don't
Don't show it. Okay.
Don't show
No.
Okay. All right.
I see them all over the place, and I'm like, no, I don't want to see
Okay.
it.
All right.
You're absolutely right, Hungry Boy. Ate into the misery, no light at the end. I can, yeah. I mean, look, if I want to depress myself, I can look in the mirror.
Well, there is some light at the end, according to and of course we got to say this is a video game. I mean, yeah, I agree with that, but I think there's a lot of misery, but I don't know how the game ends, the second game, but it's based on a video game. So here's the video game characters, and that third episode was just phenomenal.
I've heard a lot about it.
Wow,
that's pro and con. But
it really touched me the third episode. So they do the characters in the video game, but they I guess the way it was done was that third episode tells the life of two characters. I don't want to spoil anything, but I guess it happens earlier in the series versus later. So then the main characters don't get, Ellie, the girl, doesn't get to interact with the characters, I guess, like she did in the game. But it really a well done hour and 15 minutes of TV. It was Nick Offerman from The Office is not off. What's he in? Parks and Rec is phenomenal in that it's basically a mini movie. Really well done, and there's nothing graphic about it or scary about it. But he's a survivalist, so he's got everything ready for Doomsday. His character, and Doomsday happens, so he's all set. He's got generators and plenty of firearms and batteries and you name it, and gasoline, and he's ready. He's ready. I mean, this is maybe one of the scarier monsters, but it's not. I have to say, so far it's not overly. When the stuff gets really creepy and scary, like it's violent. You don't like the suspense, but then they make it gross and disgusting at the same time.
Yeah, I hate that.
This so far, in my opinion, hasn't been gross and disgusting in terms of going overboard with the graphic horror. It's almost more like Twilight Zone horror or Man Thing type. I'm trying to think, like some body horror or remember when Stephen King gets turned into the plant? What was the anthology movie series? Was that the Twilight Zone series? No, it wasn't Twilight Zone. That was what was that series called? That horror story. What the heck was that?
I can't remember.
They had like four little stories. What was that called?
Cat's Eye.
Not Cat's Eye, but it was like an horror anthology.
I like Cat's Eye.
And
yeah, Cat's Eye was cool. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue.
I'm forgetting it now too. What?
Not Pet Sematary or.
Not Pet Cemetery. It was in the 70s or 80s. I'm gonna goggle it. Don't tell Raquel. Creep Show. Thank you. That's
Creep Show. Yes.
There you go. Creep Show.
Good.
So that.
Thank you. With the asteroid and he's getting turned into a plant in the last scene as
Yeah.
he dunks himself in the bathtub.
Ah.
And he's like, screw it, I'm turning into a plant now. I'm getting my drink. It's kind of like that kind of body horror. So far, I mean, I can't vouch for, I haven't seen all the episodes, but wow, that third episode with Nick Offerman and his partner, I guess there's some differences there, but that was a real tearjerker of an episode, and just really great introduction to anthology TV where you can have two characters that you know nothing about, and within 5 to 10 minutes you care about the characters and you think you know those characters, which is just credit to the writing and the acting. I think because too often we don't get that in TV. I'd love to see more anthology type shows come back. Like in Star Trek, I'd love to see more anthology. Well, they're trying to do that in Strange New Worlds, but we won't get into that right now. But we won't mention the Gorn. But this show, and then the characters they introduce in the next episode, they meet some new characters, and there's a really heart-wrenching drama with that, and characters have to make tough decisions, and you're wondering, if you had made those decisions, what would you have done, or what would you do if you were put into that spot? So yeah, it was just really really well done so far, and really you felt for the characters, and surprised me about how well was done. My daughter was watching and said, "Oh, Dad, you got to finish." You get behind a few episodes, and you're watching. Of course, we got to watch Star Trek Deep Space Nine. We got to keep up with that for Saturday Night Star Trek, and then UFO, and like, all right, I gotta watch some of this series today. And if you like that genre, I'd recommend it. And even if you don't,
did you binge watch it today, or did you have you been watching it?
I'd watched the first 2 episodes, and then I
Okay.
binged watched 3 today. And sometimes I think it's a bad idea to binge watch too much. It's like a guilty pleasure, but then it's kind of nice to let the episodes breathe, and then you kind of get to think. That's the one thing too. You get to, like, you'd watch an episode,
Right.
then you talk to your buddies about it, and then you kind of let it sink in. You think about it for the week or what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then you watch it again. So HBO, I think they did release this week to week to week, which is smart too. I guess you want to, versus like the Stranger Things model where they release them all at once and then it doesn't have a shelf life as long. But they did. I think the finale was last week. And this show, I think 9 episodes. So I'll probably finish it during the weekend. I got to buy the game. The game is a PlayStation exclusive. It's coming out on PC now, which is very.
You gonna buy the game?
Yeah, I gotta buy the game, and even though I know what's gonna happen, but I like that kind of stuff.
You gotta.
I gotta, yeah. I gotta
What I tell you,
buy it.
You gotta do nothing but die and pay taxes.
Yeah, that's
Just
true.
saying, you gotta do.
Well, I'll buy the game, and I'll pay the taxes on the game too. But yeah, and pay. The only funny thing is, every time if I'm, you turn away, you're doing work during, I watch it on the computer. I have 2 monitors, so then I hear Pedro Pascal's voice, and I look over. I'm waiting for the Mandalorian to show up.
Oh yeah.
So, would you ever watch this retro, or you think this is kind of too? You don't like that kind of?
If I had a bottle of wine, maybe.
Yeah.
To relax me, because I get to zombie movies or zombie products, I don't really like them very much. I guess the reason why I don't like them so much is I find them to be super, super creepy and realistic, even though it's a it's a movie. Somehow my brain is like, this could really happen. It doesn't know like the difference. So it's really hard for me to watch zombie movies. But I would give it a shot. I won't say never to anything, because you can always learn something from a property you probably wouldn't normally watch. So and everybody said really good things about this so far. Everybody who's watching it, they've been loving it. So yeah, I'd watch it, but it would take some, you know, it'd have to be broad daylight, like maybe 9 a.m. and
Yeah, don't watch it at
and
night. Yeah.
no, absolutely not. Yeah.
I think you're better
So
off just avoiding it if it's not your cup of tea. I think that or wine.
yeah. I mean, if it becomes one of those like phenomenons where everybody, is everything that you keep encountering it all the time. I may do it, but if I don't have to, I mean, I won't force myself to. But
Yeah, you can always try the first episode and see if the
okay,
characters stick, or I mean, and maybe have a bottle of wine. I guess Maddie's daddy's joking, like have a bottle versus a glass. Yeah, no, don't do that. No, don't overdrink. But I always tell a story where I was working on my old Mustang at my grandmother's house way back in the day. It's like midnight. I'm trying to get the car ready or to do something the next day, and back then you had the radio on, and Pink Floyd Amagama comes on. Careful with that X, Eugene. And there's a middle of that song where he's like, where it's actually it sounds like a demonic creature. One of these days I'm going to chop you into little pieces, and it's these weird sound effects. And my grandmother is not in the middle of nowhere. There's like my uncle was living behind, but it's in the summer and it's like there's blackness everywhere. Like the lot behind my grandmother was open, so you couldn't see anything. And then the hairs stand up in the back of your neck, and I'm like, close the garage door, shut everything down. I'm like, I'm going home now. There's some things where just like your mind starts to scare yourself, so you don't want to put yourself into those situations if it's not something you want to watch. But I have to say, it wasn't so overly. It's more tension, kind of like Aliens tension right now in this series versus like, hey, let's just do the most gross. Not saying that the creatures aren't gross, but they're like aliens gross, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Versus, parts flying everywhere and just gross stuff just for the sake of grossness, because we can show what we can do. That might change in the last few episodes, but there were some neat surprises, I thought. And there's of course, it must be one of the big bosses for the game. They have like a boss creature in one of the episodes. It's like really, it looks like it's impossible to kill, like a giant version of one of the critters, without having to play the game. I haven't known, but I'm like, oh, that could be a D&D character, actually, like a like the Mind Flayer or something that they have in Stranger Things. So there's some parts of it. Yeah, I would definitely never say, oh yeah, you have to, you have to watch it. But it's might be worth giving a chance. Yeah.
I know I saw some like a few pictures of the creatures, and it really they're really gross.
Yeah. Oh, they're gross. Yeah, no, they're gross.
I was like,
but,
ooh, I don't know if I can handle.
Yeah.
I couldn't even handle watching. Like some people had been posting pictures on their thumbnails, and I
that
like
was grossing you out.
yeah, immediately hid them. I was like, nope, I'm not
Okay.
even.
All right, we'll go back past that. Yeah, we don't gross out
No.
any of our panelists. Yeah,
But no, I mean, if I keep seeing it, I'm gonna eventually get desensitized to it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because it's becoming part of like pop culture, and so eventually I'll be like, you know what, I can sit down and watch this now.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So, but I give it a Mark D thumbs up. If you're a zombie fan, it's just well done, well acted, well written so far. It makes sense. Unlike some of the Star Trek stuff. And I guess to close out, why don't we talk about Mandalorian for a few minutes, since we promised. Have you watched Mandalorian?
Yes, I have.
All right, good. Okay, so we can talk about Mandalorian. All right, so that kind of went off the rails this week a little bit. I see what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But
Glad somebody does.
first, well, I mean, it was a fail, but I see where they were trying to go. The first episode I didn't think was that bad, and I think Clobber Times, you agree with that too, right?
It was just sort of so-so. I thought the first episode was kind of I wasn't exactly happy what I knew with the premise they were setting out upon, but I didn't really hate it or anything. It was just sort of like,
Yeah.
well, we'll see what happens. But boy, oh, boy, howdy.
Yeah, because the
After
first
that.
episode, to recap, I guess he goes back to Tatooine again, I guess, right? And he's
Yeah.
and he's got
Or-
he's trying to find the waters to this he's got to bathe in these water. One of the problems I have too is
He's got to
if
go to
it's so easy.
Mandalore. So good.
Yeah. No, I was just say one of the uh, crazy things, if it's all you need to do is to become redeemed, is just bathe in some
Take a
waters.
bath. Take
I
the
mean, I
first
know
bath of
some
your life.
7-year-old kids where it's tough to get them to take a bath. It's like mom would tell me to
Right.
take a bath, take a shower. But for most people, it's like, wait a minute, that can't be that tough, right? I did have one scout who said he had a note from his parents that said he didn't have to shower for the week at summer camp. That turned out not to be true. But you gotta bathe. I don't know. And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. Does it mean they have to take the suit of armor off to bathe?
Oh boy, yeah.
It's weird. But yeah, so look, second week since we haven't reviewed them all. Just a quick recap. First week, I didn't think it was particularly. I just thought it was just sort of there. It was short. Set about on his little mission.
IG-11.
They set him on his little mission, but I'm like, okay, I'm not sure I'm thrilled with what you're doing. I wish you would kind of just go back to being just sort of like a bounty hunter show and stuff. But whatever, man.
Yeah.
You now we know you're going to take a bath. That's your big mission for the mission. What the hell? But second episode, my goodness, he is such a wimp.
Yeah, so basically he's setting out
I'm not gonna jump the
to
gun.
find but he said you're right. He's setting out to find the parts for IG-11, this chip that he to bring, because they bring IG-11 back to life. He's a statue, and they've made him a statue because he helped save the colony. Carl Weathers is there. So this is IG-11, so they take him
But they
down.
ditched that though.
Yeah, and then they bring him back
the first season. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's a statue in the third season. And that's the first season. Yeah. Just here he is as a statue. Yeah, here is a statue. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right. But they turn him on and he tries to kill Grogu, and so the mission is right now to get a chip, right, to fix him, I guess. Yep.
Look who's here.
Look who's
Dad,
here.
man. What's up, buddy?
Howdy.
Hey, Dadman.
Howdy.
Oh, did you watch The Mandalorian?
No, but I just in time for the IG bounty droids. I love the IG droids.
Unfortunately, he got blowed up.
It's okay. He can still drive. I just finished Terminator, so yes, they keep moving.
So, did you like this first episode of season 3? Oh, you haven't watched any of it, Deadman.
I haven't watched it yet. I might take it up for. Is this season 3 or season 4? I forgot.
Season 3. Yep.
Well, I might have to go back to watch season 2. But yeah, anytime you have an IG droid in action, it's a darn good thing.
Well,
very cool, right?
But Clobby's kind of scared me though when I hear about the bounty hunters being a wimp, though.
It hasn't been in action yet, by the way. They're trying to rebuild.
Yeah. So they're trying to find IG-11, right?
Well, it's kind of the thing, Mark. They found that
episode.
He's building him, but then they dump that.
Yeah, they stopped that storyline, and we don't know when they're going to pick it back up again.
No,
I thought when he lands on Tatooine, and he talks to the Jawas, and then they say they're going to try to. Then he's going to go look.
Right.
Oh, you're saying
he leaves it on Tatooine? Isn't that right? Retro, I think.
He just doesn't. They give him another droid, and that's it. We don't hear anything else about it.
So you think they're going to totally drop that story?
No,
that's
probably
horrible.
Maybe they might pick it up, but I mean, it's been an episode.
It'll be a while if they do it all.
Yeah, I mean, it could mention something next week, but it's a little bit much to give us all. This is what I think about this so far. It's like after season 2, they They really went wild. Like, first of all, they added a whole chunk of the storyline for Mandalorian inside of Boba Fett.
Yep.
So if you, Dadman, if you were hoping to take off from season 2 right into season 3, you can't. You have to actually see Boba Fett season 1 in order to get the storyline and then pick up with season 3.
Is that because I have not watched Boba Fett, but as I understood it, the last few episodes in Boba Fett really focused more on the Mandalorian?
Yes.
Is
There's
that
one whole episode was
okay?
just the Mandalorian.
Yeah, there was actually there's from what I heard, there's 3 episodes with
3, yeah.
yeah, with details about the Mandalorian that's very pertinent to season 3. So it's like, okay.
Yeah. Well, my dilemma is I am one of those old school expanded universe type of Star Wars people, and I don't like what they've done with Boba Fett, and where ultimately where the new trilogy's taken us. I'm very slow to want to watch some of these shows. About when they got to the Mandalorian and then got it to when Luke Skywalker made an appearance, I sort of was ready to test it, but everything I've heard since then, I'm kind of like, and now you say that I can't take one show and, that I have to watch this other series to get to it, kind of makes me, not want to. It's like, why do I need to watch these other things to make the connections? Why can't this Mandalorian stand alone on his own?
You don't have to watch all of Boba Fett for that. You don't have to watch all of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
just
not all of it.
But the principle to me, it's the principle of the matter to me as a viewer and as a Star Wars fan is why? I mean, I
There's
got
basically
so many
three episodes of the Mandalorian in
That's
Boba
a lot.
Fett.
Yeah, isn't it half the series of the Boba Fett series?
Yeah, I mean,
out of 8. Yeah.
yeah, that's a lot, and I don't know why they decided to do that. I understand that the stories are interconnected, but that was a blow for me enjoying season 3, because I was like, okay, so most of the story that bridges the gap between these 2 seasons is in another program, and then the first episode was very, very exciting. Lots of things happened in that episode, and it was adrenaline charged. But we haven't that was episode 1. We've already done episode 2 and 3, and about, I would say, 70% of the things that happened in the first episode we haven't even touched.
Yeah. Right, because the second episode, he just decides to go take a bath, and then he goes and gets his ass handed to him by a dumb robot thingy, and has to be rescued by Grogu and what's her name, Bo-Katan.
What the heck was that thing, everyone? Does everyone know what that thing was in that second episode?
I don't know.
I finally watched
some kind of droid monster thingy, but
it would look like part alive too. Like it had like a kind of like a general. Who was the?
They said it was a scavenger. A biogenetic scavenger.
Right.
It had like an eye that was alive, kind of like
I thought
General
it was a
Grievous.
cool monster. I thought it was cool. I thought it was really cool. Especially loved the fact that it was waiting there for maybe years for someone to come and trap. And as soon as he got Mandalorian, he in his little trap, he gave him a little injection to knock him out. Thought that was really creepy.
And he was draining his blood too, like a vampire, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I think if you look at him when he crawls out of his little contraption, he has these tubes that are coming out of and I think those were feeding him. I think those were his feeding tubes, and I think he was. If you looked at the tube he was extracting from the Mandalorian, it wasn't exactly red like blood. It was like a mixture. So he was like liquefying him. Yeah.
So that was a creepy creature. Kind of looked like the robot in the new Lost in Space robot. Somehow it reminded me of that Lost in Space robot, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In some ways.
Right. I just thought
But
it
it
was
made no sense, though. It made no sense. And then, of course, Mandalorian should be able to take this guy out, right? He's got the ebony blade.
Well, he
Yeah.
doesn't know how to use it yet because he's I don't know. He doesn't know how to use it yet.
Yeah, or it weighs him
Yeah.
down, I guess, because of the ways you've got to let it take over your mind. There was some line in the first season. Hey, Lenrod, you're never late. Thank you for being here.
Lenrod.
Yep.
Yeah, I just thought the episode was kind of, or the second one was just kind of kooky, in that I think he was kind of being a little bit of a wimpweed, and then of course, he has to be rescued by Bo-Katan, who told him to get screwed in the previous episode. But she comes and
Yeah,
just
that didn't make sense.
briefly comes to his aid because he sends. This was, you know, what it reminded me of. This was like Lassie is, little Timmy gets caught in the well, and goes, go get help, boy, go get help, boy, to Lassie, and Lassie, of course, is Grogu, who flies a starship all the way across space. They act like space, like she's down the street. She's like just a hop, skip, and a jump across the valley to the way. She's on another freaking planet. They don't never. All these planets are like 2 inches from each other, and I can't stand that he flies around in a Naboo starfighter in intergalactic travel, like in warp in a light speed. Like what? That's no.
And then he kind of flips into the N1 starship. And I guess they're going to say that R5D4 is piloting. So, Dad, man, you do get R5D4, who's scared of everything. It's like, why do they have a droid that's programmed to be scared to go do? I mean, it's one thing to have like R2 being the spunky droid,
that to me is just a throwback to the original Star Wars movie because, that, like you said, R5D4, and
it's the same one.
It's
you know what?
The same one.
It would have made more sense if Grogu, first of all, who by the way fought a damn giant rancor on Boba Fett.
Yeah,
he can't. He can't fight the damn monster here. There was nothing compared to a rancor. I'm sorry, this robot thing. He could have used the force. But even that, if you're gonna change Grogu all of a sudden and you can't save Mandalorian, how about I would rather have Bo-Katan just show up like she decided to follow him after all, rather than the idiocy of him. By the time he goes and gets her and brings her back, a Mandalorian should be dead or pretty messed up. But he acted like it was 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it's like that whole R5D4 throwback. That thing is like years after the original movie took place.
That was just
stuff. Yeah, and I see that, but it's like, how could that? I don't know. I just don't get the time connect. I just don't trust him as more of a member berry, as something to look back on an image, because the likelihood of that droid still being sold down and when he was
had a bad motivator unit too.
I know, bad motivator, but still, it's like it's still years past, and the likelihood. I don't know. I'm just.
But the worst thing was they made him a wimp. They made him like a droid that wouldn't go anywhere or do anything. So that's.
And see, droids were really not that way. They just did whatever. R2 was a little exceptional, being the brave droid he was, but they were not necessarily fearful, except for
he had no motivation.
Except for the mouse droid that Chewbacca yelled at on the Death Star.
Yeah, but like him. Yeah.
Also, Grogu, we're to believe, was training with Luke for at least a year or two.
2 years. 2 years, according.
Okay. Yeah. So you tell me he can't do anything anymore? I mean, again, like I said, he went to in Boba Fett. He fought. I mean, he used his powers pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but he can't go out. He can't do anything to save this father that he loves so much that he chose to go with. He just runs off to go get Starbuck to save him.
Well, that's what drives people crazy too, and the powers aren't consistent in a character.
I hate inconsistent use of powers.
Grogu, they've written into a bad position here because
you could have
I think maybe
the crap out of that thing.
Maybe it's Grogu the teenage years, rebellious teenager.
I think originally they were going to get rid of him, but then he was so I shouldn't say get rid of him, but just have him go with Luke. That some people mentioned in the chat, and maybe have him come back later. But I think he's just so darn popular and sells so
they
much
need
merchandise,
him at this
point. Right? They need him, and the problem is he's such a powerful character. If you have that force power, or I love that scene where Luke comes back. Mark Hamill a character, and
I love it.
Mando was fighting those dark troopers, and Bo Katana's there, everyone's Cara Dune, and they can barely fight off these dark troopers, and it looks like they're about to lose. And Luke comes up and just slices and dices like he's got a Ginsu knife on the Coke can, if anyone remembers that old commercial. And it's no contest. I mean, that's how powerful Luke Skywalker is, and he should be, right? I mean, that
Yes.
should be Luke, the most powerful person in the galaxy. And now with Grogu having gone to train, the other thing that's ridiculous is they have him. He's supposed to be 50 years as an adult to become an adult. I mean, that's ludicrous too. And at this point, you should have Grogu speaking. It doesn't make sense that any kind of creature would take 50 years to mature.
The showrunners have said that he's gonna speak this season.
I hope so. Yeah, good.
Yeah,
That's good to hear.
He's gonna eventually speak, and he's just gonna speak normally. He's not gonna speak like Yoda.
Okay.
Which is
Sure,
this is
that
a
are
burning question.
Yoda, he's not
you-
going to speak like. Yoda, he is not going to speak like. No.
He's I mean, I think you're all correct about everything, because I mean, even though I love him so much because he's cute, that's not enough. And I think one piece maybe that they were building with the character is that he's afraid, and I'm like, if they do use that as the reason why he didn't do anything was or he was more ineffective, is that he's so cute.
My cell phone holder that my son gave me for Christmas.
Oh, that is adorable. Oh my goodness.
So everyone loves Grogu, right? And where's my 3D printed? Oh, and I got a Grogu keychain. So here, Grogu can hold his own keychain. Yep,
that's adorable.
Which has got a light, right?
That is
So
nice.
that's cute. And then where's my 3D? Where's 3D? Yeah, so the character really.
Some have argued it was time for him to go, though.
Yeah, a lot of people want him to. The studio is not going to. He's going to.
No, he's money in the bank.
Yeah, they're not gonna, and they need to make toys and products.
Give him his own cartoon then.
Yeah, that would be so cute. I mean, at least it would feed into this whole like, oh yeah, Grogu is cute, and separate him from the Mandalorian, because we really want to see Mando deliver the the kick-ass. We want to see him cause some damage. We want to see Mandalorians be warriors. We don't want to see him
babysitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, because
or taking baths.
It is interesting. It is interesting to have him. The whole Lone Wolf and Cub stuff was kind of interesting for the first 2 seasons. But yes, if Grogu's going to grow and his power is going to grow, you can't have them together, because now it would get to a point where, Mando would never have to do anything. He's just got this powerful Force user to do whatever he needs. So, but it's still illogical for him not to use the Force in that scene in episode 2 when this thing's got his pappy that he loves so much crap.
Yes.
But he could have ripped that thing to pieces with the Force.
Yeah. And he has done such things. Like, remember when Cara Dune was not fist fighting, but they were arm wrestling, and he choked her out. And it's like, he did that then. What happened to those skills? Like, where? And that is a valid question.
Yeah, because he loves Mando more than anybody. That's his fault. I mean, he chose to stay with him. He chose to go with him instead of staying with Luke. And you think he would be so protective that his first reaction to that thing catching him would be anger, and he would just lash out at the thing. I thought that was totally inconsistent, that he ran off like a baby and, like Lassie, go get mommy and go fetch mommy and daddy, Lassie. And of course, again, it's only like 20 minutes to go to pick her up on another planet and to get her. Like I said, if you're going to do that, at least concoct a better approach. In other words, she decided to follow him after all. She changed her mind, and then she shows up in there, and then saves his. Just let her show up rather than the idiocy of this. Every planet's like two like a 2-minute hike from each other. All these planets and stuff. They shrunk the galaxy so much that you can't ride on a little snub fighter type thing like that.
Oh yeah,
for hours and hours. Yeah.
No.
First of all, I thought Bob Iger told Grogu he had to leave Luke and go back to the Mandalorian.
I guess.
And you're right, like that didn't no, Dad man, you're the Star Wars expert here. I'm going to put you on the spot, but wasn't there like a docking station when they went to Lightspeed, when they traveled long distances with that N1 starfighter, or with
it came up in the prequels. Yeah, they had that docking ring, and they had to jump to Lightspeed. Yeah, that I think what Clobby said earlier, those Naboo starfighters shouldn't have had the Lightspeed capability. A lot of your short range TIE fighters couldn't jump to Lightspeed. It took the TIE Advanced like Vader had the Lightspeed.
Right. Now Luke did do it. Luke did do it with an X-wing in Empire, but
they did design X-wings to have light speed.
X-wings can do that.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
But those particular ships did not have that capability, and I don't think the Naboo starfighter did either.
Which was many years earlier.
This is I'm remembering for the
right. That's right. That was
the docking.
That was Attack of the Clones. Yeah, exactly. Obi-Wan had to take that to go to Kamino to check on the clones.
That's right.
So you know
exactly. And that starfighter. I know she modified it, but let's go and give them that they can modify it to go to Lightspeed for a second. Man, why would you? You can't move around. You're gonna have to sit. You still long trips like that.
It makes no sense. Yeah,
he should have something closer to the size of the Razor Crest.
Where are you gonna put your bounty?
The Razor Crest was tiny enough as it is.
But at least he had a place to store his bounties and stuff. You know, the one guy put in the freezer and stuff like that. This makes no sense to have a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
Unless he's out to just kill everybody. But
he should have a bigger ship.
Yeah, he should totally have a bigger ship.
Or something that you could dock to it, like you would have like two ships, and you could, when you needed to go like chase someone,
you could bring that.
Like
you'd have to have that second ship, because otherwise you would
pull this with him. Yeah. Pull that shit with it, yeah.
But you know what? I think it goes to the heart of everything. They just they box themselves into stuff and try to write out excuses for things instead of taking what had been settled, the way things had been, and writing their things around what makes sense, how things work. They write into these things like, oh, this mechanic is such a genius that forget everything else we know. This person has this super ability. It's like the Grogu thing. I like Grogu. He's cute. I know a lot of people like Grogu, but I look at him as like a Sakutano. That's another big character that a lot of the old guards hate, because I agree with Lucas. She should have died in Order 66. Dave Filoni wants her around forever. I guess ever since the Rebels and everything else, you got another character who's now made appearances in these series also. I just, that's where I have a hard time getting into the stuff, the new stuff, is because they've done so many things despite what had been lore before. And what they're doing is they're weakening the canon, because they're having to excuse everything, or everything you knew before has to be put aside to go to their new reality. And I just, some of it that just doesn't make sense, and like this, I'll probably watch the show now because you guys, and if y'all are talking about it, I got to be a good guest, and I'll watch it and enjoy it.
You don't have to, Devin.
No, I will. No, I need to, because I do believe in what you see. But this is just some initial impressions from the outside. Grogu was cute and fine, but to me, he should have kind of ended. This should be about the Mandalorian and what he does, and if we're going to have a bounty hunter show with him and IG-11, then let's have a bounty hunter show, not Romper Room, things like that.
Though there's some theories out there, because I love doing like deep dive in theories and stuff. There's some theories out there that the actual Mandalorian in the title is actually Grogu, because the story starts out this first episode of Mandalorian is Din trying to get work, and he gets the job, and he first meets Grogu. So it's sort of like the storytelling of his journey to become a Mandalorian. That's one theory that's out there, and so if that's the case, then it's appropriate for him to be in the story. But we're trying to figure out what his worth is in the story, because in this episode this week he was totally useless except for to say a few gurgles. And like the last episode, he was, he displayed that he was learning some more practical things about being a navigator, but it doesn't, the robot really did all the work. He just pointed to the star,
Yeah.
to the planet he wanted to go to, or the moon he wanted to go to, and then that's navigating now. I'm just kind of
Yeah.
like, give him something concrete to do, or just have like, hey, have him go with Pelly for a little while. I just think they haven't figured out what to do with Grogu.
Oh,
Yeah.
good night, Maddie's daddy. Yep, if you're still
Night,
here.
Maddie's daddy.
Oh, good night, Maddie's
Yeah.
daddy.
Dad, man, I would not commit to watching the show until you heard us talk about episode 3 yet.
Well, yeah.
Well,
so those are all great points, and we might scare you away with the third one, but
I don't know. Mark's continual memeing of me might scare me away.
Yeah.
Oh,
See, I love this.
I tried to
love
talk
this
about it.
Yeah. I love this engineering stuff, and then I was right.
Mm.
It's a cool looking spaceship, but it just makes no sense to
Yeah.
have
Short
that, or if
range.
they got to have it something docking or a pod that they could attach to
Had
it,
him,
or
you
just
could hook it to
makes
a
zero
bigger
sense.
ship.
How do you go to the bathroom?
You can't do anything. It's absolutely
yeah.
You're gonna
I
spend.
mean-
Look, even they spend hours in hyperspace.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
long periods of time in hyperspace. Although they cheat in Star Wars just for sake of storytelling. Like they'll go into hyperspace and a few minutes later they're somewhere else. Although it took them a long time to get from the big in Empire from the asteroid field to Bespin. Yeah, they said that's going to be a long trip. Usually it's a long trip.
Mm-hmm.
It's a long way to Bespin. I think we can make it. And it takes a good while. Even time passes pretty good. They just compress it for the sake of telling a story, but it's not like it's down the street.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I know when I take a long car trip, right? 4 or 5. I can maybe do 3 hours without stopping. I'm getting too old. Need relief, and you just, you're all creaky. God bless the truck drivers out there. I guess they're on a big seat.
I could knock out 8 hours easy, but I'm a pro.
But you're a pro, right? But it's
well, not anymore.
Yeah. But look, this is a starfighter. He's like crammed into this thing with the damn cape on and everything. And then Grogu's on him, I guess. And there's so that part is.
And he's wearing full metal armor.
All the time.
I'm like,
all the time. That doesn't chafe at all, I guess.
Crammed in there. What if you have an itch under your helmet? Where do you?
You can't scratch anywhere on that in that armor.
No, you can't. That's impervious to most things. Yeah. Well, just suspend belief. Just suspend reality. That's all you can do.
But they make it tougher to suspend it sometimes.
I agree. That's
just let him have a normal sized ship that a bounty hunter would have. Slave 1 wasn't that big, but he could move around in it.
And that's the stuff that I struggle with, though, Clobby, is, at some point you get tired of having to suspend belief. At least at some point, have some reality into it. Have something that makes some sense, because then you can relate it, you can accept it. But when you're constantly getting R5D4 around like 20 years later or 15 years later, I can't remember what the exact time frame is, logically there. And then, like you said, this stuff with the ships, not that we want reality in everything, but in a show like this, though, there should be some connection, some reality. It should be possible. The science science that we see should be somewhere expected, or could be reasonable. All the stuff Mark talked about, the light speed, the bathroom, that's a huge thing. Carrying your bounties, why?
Yeah, look, where are you going to put
I
Han
te-
Solo and Carbonite? At least you can-
back to what I said earlier. It's like they keep reaching at member berries and things to. I don't know why you pick an N1 starfighter. If you're going to do
It's
it, bring
just-
out an X-wing fighter
Idiotic.
or a
Yeah.
Y-wing or a Y-wing fighter from the original trilogy. You know, the original series, because you know you could put somebody in the back. You know, there are many other craft you could have used other than a Naboo snub fighter to have done this, but then you got R5D4. Remember, and I'm the IG droid. I love it, and that first episode, watching it in action, just was a dream come true to me. But it's like just using the old stuff that supposedly was not good enough to build your stuff to attract people in to go forward, and that's where any of this I'm going to be colored and skewed in a way. Maybe a little bit like, you know, how Clobby with the Marvel and some of the other stuff, how what you grew up with and how you accepted has been changed and bastardized. I'm kind of coming into this with a tinted view already, if that makes sense.
Sure. I hear you, sir. I hear you.
I try to be fair though, but I know.
Well, now
I'm
the
biased.
episode 3 really goes off.
What is this guy?
2, so episode 2.
Oh
I
my
don't know if I remember
goodness.
the episode right. So how does episode 2 end? Episode 1 is they got to find IG, the chip, or IG-11 chip.
He gets pulled under the water.
Yeah, so 18 episode. Yeah, it's 18. The Mines of Mandalore, right? I think he falls because they explain that.
Yeah, he gets dragged down, doesn't he? When he goes.
No, he
in
falls because there's it's been
platform.
bombed.
Yeah, the platform is broken.
Okay.
So he just falls.
Right.
In the chasm there.
And of course, and Starbuck saves him like she keeps saving his ass.
Yeah, so she's got her flying pack on, so she flies underwater. And I guess the Mandalorian can go into space with their helmet on, but I guess he's so shocked that his helmet was open, so he gets some water in. So I guess he's coughing because the helmet was open. It takes water into his helmet because I was wondering, like, wouldn't the helmet automatically shut? I guess. The one cool thing was she does see a mythosaur on her way up. So saying, you know, showing that the old stories that she's kind of making fun of the old Mandalorian stories because of the storyline where, you know, she's quote unquote not walking the way. She takes her helmet off, and Mando's group is supposed to be a more extremist, you know, sect, I guess, of the Mandalorian
called
religion.
Them a cult.
Yeah, called them a cult, right? Yep. So she saves Mando in that one, and but they've bathed in the waters, and then I guess the next episode. Doesn't that start with her whole home getting destroyed?
Did they leave it like a cliffhanger? Like you weren't sure what happened, and then they just come back, and now it was just her pulling them out, and it's fine.
Yeah.
I think the key thing about that scene is that she doesn't tell him that she saw the mythosaur, and she was asking him, kind of drilling him as to see if he saw it. But
she thinks she might be seeing things or might be crazy, but he was coughing when he came up or choking. So mythosaur is like the creature that's on the crest there with the big horns. It's kind of like a big, huge, what would you call it? Like a big dinosaur, I guess, or a big, dragon type thing. That's the mythosaur. So I guess the first Mandalorian slew a mythosaur, and that became, the lore and one of the let's see if I do mythosaur here, creatures that are in myth, but I guess she actually saw it, or unless she was.
If the mythosaur is present, that means the return of Mandalore and the restorance of their people. And so she, by seeing the mythosaur, she now knows that those myths and those weird practices and beliefs are actually true. All the things that she was making fun of, and now I think, I'm not sure if she's like, did I really see it? Is it really true? Or if she knows that she saw it and she's like, okay, this is how I'm gonna, seek power. This is how I'm gonna be able to rule over these guys, which I don't think she deserves it, to be honest.
Oh yeah, this is the scene where she sees the eye, and this is Bo-Katan dragging the Mandalorian up. So that scene was kind of cool. I'll give
I
him
love
that.
that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love the whole storyline about the myths and her, the part where she's talking about her father, that she did the ceremony where she had also was sort of baptized in this water, and her father was kind of proud of her for doing it, and it was something that they did for show for other people. But I think and someone I know mentioned this, it would have been great if we had gotten a visual of maybe like a quick flashback, nothing great, nothing super fancy, but just to give us an idea of what the heck she's talking about.
That old
Because,
ceremony. That's a great point. Yeah, that would have been really cool to see. Yeah.
and break up some of the monotony of the visuals, and it was just dark and dreary for and we just needed a pop of visual storytelling and a little less exposition.
You can't see anything here. Yeah, they can't. It's kind of a cool scene, but you really can't.
That second episode had a lot of exposition too that was unnecessary from Mando of all people, who never talked so much as he did in that second episode. By the way, to Grogu, who doesn't even understand what the hell he's talking about.
Well, that's why they got to get Grogu to speak, because it's like, come on, we got to see Grogu. He's got to. You can only do so much with his character, and it's just so. So that's a cool shot.
It almost sounds like he was trying to say something because he kept speaking like, and it's like we need like him to finally speak, and so they said that he's going to eventually speak. So let's hope it's not all the way at the last episode.
Yes.
Okay, I would say it'd be cool if they had James Earl Jones voice Grogu.
There you go.
I'll take that, member Barry.
Oh man, he sounds all cute, but he's got a low bass.
Not like us.
This is the Mandalorian.
Yeah. So and then the episode really goes off the rails. So
they go back. They fly back to Starbucks Planet. Not Starbucks Planet. They were trying to go back there, and they get attacked by a bunch of TIE interceptors. Because they said, fans haven't seen anything fun for a while. Let's throw something at them. And they get to see TIE interceptors, which is nice to see for fans. I understand that.
I finally got that Starbucks reference. It finally hit me. Sorry. No, I got it now.
Right? And I thought that was really exciting and fun. I have a theory that those guys were waiting for them to show up, because they could have bombed her castle at any point.
Right? She's alone on the planet, right?
Yeah. They could have bombed, and so they picked this very moment to do that. So something's fishy.
Something's up.
Yeah.
And she's got no defenses on the planet.
Yeah.
There's nothing. She's there alone. There's a really funny meme that I saw was like Bo-Katan, before Mando shows up, and she's dressed in like sweatpants. She's like, "Oh wait, Mandalorian's coming. I wish I could find it." And like she's going here, and then she's getting everything, puts the armor on, she puts her leg, like she's sitting on the throne there with her legs over the throne, like disrespecting the throne. But it doesn't make sense. She'd be there just alone. She was royalty, and didn't she have a crew that was with her? I guess they abandoned her.
They abandoned her. The Night Owls, and they
totally blew her off, right?
Yeah. And that's because again, this is also showing how these people that she's calling the the cult, they're still together. Whereas her and her people are all, left her.
Yeah.
So it's proving to her that, hey, something's up with these people. They got it together a little bit more than the rest of us.
Right. And so they get attacked. They have a nice little dogfight with these interceptors. Then we can see TIE bombers blowing up her planet. And they said, well, we better hightail it out of here. We're going to find a safe place to go. Yeah. So they take they take both their spaceships to the planet that he showed up in the first episode at which is where a bunch of Mandalorians where he first got his mission are told by that woman that he could go take a bath and be saved,
Yeah.
be reborn, be redeemed.
Armor, yeah, the armor they call it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they go back there, but they say after they head back there, but all of a sudden we don't see where they go for about 20 hours later because
Oh yeah. This
We
is where
see
they
Coruscant.
because we go to Coruscant. And first I'm like, oh, that's cool, Coruscant. Let's see what's going to happen there. That's
But
kind of
what's
nice.
going on there? Yeah.
Yeah, I
why the
thought-
heck would they
I-
show Coruscant?
Initially, I thought that that's where Bo and
Yeah.
Jim were going. Like, I was like, oh, so they're going to have a secret little mission over in Coruscant,
Right.
hide out for a little while. Nope.
Yeah, no, it didn't turn out that way. Coruscant is going to be, again, yeah, you're going, as a Star Wars fan, whatever's left of you as a Star Wars fan is going, man, that might be kind of cool. So, Coruscant, all right, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah,
boy.
I think what they were trying to do is one of the biggest flaws in the Star Wars new Star Wars is that they've they don't have that bridge between the horrible new late movies. Like how did the Empire come back? I mean, they just
ready.
And then of course they're showing Luke as a failure, which I can't stand, and how all of a sudden the Empire, what the new movie should have been about was the three main characters back together again, fighting a reemergence of the Empire. But all of a sudden you've got everything. All of a sudden you've got the Empire. Basically, what do they call the Empire in the new movie?
The New Order.
The New Order.
First
Thank
Order.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, the first
And,
order.
Yeah,
First
and
Order.
but they're
First
back
Order.
basically, right? And they've got all their spaceships. They got a bazillion
Right.
Star Destroyers.
They built
Yeah.
that planet.
Well,
Yeah,
And
nothing's
this-
explained.
this is probably going to really make a fan of the EU like you are, Dad Man, take notice or give pause, because it looks to me, you see this dude here. We go to Coruscant. Here we meet this guy, and he's giving this speech in front of a bunch of people. He is one of many people. This is like 5, 6, 7 years after Jedi, who has worked for the Empire, but is now being reintegrated into New Republic society. And he's a scientist who works on genetic research and different all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It's a very, very nerdy, very kind of a mousy, kind of a quiet sort of a guy. And we find out, he gives a speech, and he goes home to the special living area for people who are former Empire people. Basically, it's like a compound, or I don't know if it's that so much, in other words, people from who they take it that they've allowed to come over from the Empire to integrate into New Republic society. There's a particular area of
The amnesty
Coruscant.
program.
Right, the amnesty thank you. And he goes there to his little, I guess, what do you want to call it, like a little apartment complex type thing or whatever he lives.
Kind of like a dorm /
like a
prison.
Yeah,
dorm. Yes.
a prison. Yes.
Right. And he meets this person. Again, I'm not trying to be cruel, but it's a woman, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's a woman. I'm just saying that because I wasn't really sure if they were trying to make
here she is.
this person, like this lady, this young lady right
Like
here.
Kane. Yep.
And apparently she was on an episode or so last season where she was on Moff Gideon's crew.
Ship. Yeah. Mhm.
Yep.
But now, of course, somehow she's ended up there, and she meets him, and she's trying to start, slowly gaining his friendship and trying to talk him into going back into his line of research, which is something that's illegal in the New Republic. So how she got there, I don't know, because she's just been working for Moff Gideon. So how she's that established already in the AMC program for like a couple years, I guess. I don't know, but whatever. So she's trying to get him to pursue his research. And for the next 3 hours of the show, whatever,
3 hours.
It's not that long.
it's just the two of them talking most of the time.
Oh,
And
jeez.
it's Andor. All of a sudden, you've just moved over to Andor. You didn't even know
Yeah.
you were on Andor.
It's slow.
And-
It really hits the.
Well, see,
bumps
I
and
do-
brakes.
I do
like-
remember him from the first season, though, because I remember early on he was trying to
Okay.
extract the material. They had the debate about
Okay, he was in that.
the kid,
Okay.
so he was there. But like you
Fair
said,
enough.
why would she be so entrenched in this program? Like you said, if she was just working for Moff Gideon.
Oh, I have a theory.
Go for it. Go
Yeah.
for it.
All right. Well, I've seen it a couple of times, and so I think she has been. Even though this section looks like it's about him, and his demise, it's really about her and how she's set up. Sort of like she's been turning in her former comrades over time and gaining position in the New Republic.
Right.
So she is, the more she does that, the more they trust her, and the higher that she gets in rank, I suppose. And there are kind of some cues of like her ability to get some of the stuff that she uses to lure him in, like those biscuits. Like she gets those biscuits for him, and when they're entering the subway station or the station to a train station, there's a police officer that makes eye contact with them, but he does not pursue. And he knows what she's doing, you know. So she's that's basically what this is setting up, that she is working, she's like a double agent that is turning in her own people or her own former compadres, seeing if they are gullible to fall for it, and gaining trust with the New Republic, so she can do more damage.
Yes,
I think she's
Or-
a double agent, double top
or a
secret
triple
probation
agent.
agent.
Triple
Yes.
agent, yeah. So
Probably.
it's really interesting because they explain why the Empire, or the former Empire, was able to turn into the New Order and surprise this new government, because they've been destroying all of the Empire's technology and forces, or
Equipment.
fleets, their
Ships.
equipment fleets, and they've also been dismantling the rebel fleets as well.
Made no sense.
Well, they were.
And
I think in the EU there was a natural disarming of the rebel alliance at some point. But the thing was, the empire never went away. It was referred to as the Imperial Remnant. After the destruction on Endor, they fled to another part of the galaxy. They set up their own control area. They were there the whole time. It wasn't like it just came out of nowhere. You had Paleon and Azard and several other high-ranking Moffs and stuff that, it had its own universe, within the greater universe. And that's where, like I said, I think with shows like this, it's hard for me to adjust because, that makes sense. That would make sense. But one of the fundamental problems I have.
It's too bad Disney didn't have any. Disney
Yeah.
didn't have any books to go on or any
comics
future stories
and
to
all
go
that.
on.
Yeah, because see, the whole thing that I can't buy logically is the Empire just vanished when the Emperor died.
Say that once again. Say that.
I can't conceive how the Empire just magically all completely vanishes just because the Emperor dies.
Yeah.
And that I mean that's making me think. Well, just because the Emperor died, then. And all the secret behind pulling the Empire back, it never went away. I mean, you look at real wars and stuff, just because the bad guy's beaten, there's still remnants that you have to deal with and put out for many years.
Look at Japan and Germany after World War II. I mean,
you still dealt with
World
stuff.
War I's a better example with Germany, right? I guess,
but I mean, that's the whole point. And that's where I think some of their writing is just like, they're trying so hard to make something unique of their own when if they're trying to sell to the older people and the nostalgic, I believe that they firmly messed up. And now I also clarify, I'm not one that says make EU everything and it has to stay straight like that, because I think it could be boring. I think you do have to make it entertaining. I think there's room for improvement. But I think where they messed up was, like Mark said, the thing should have been on the main characters, and it should have been like the descendants of the Skywalker line, the actual grandkids and not some weenie Kylo Ren that does his little teenage meltdown, but characters that had power and they had gravitas. You read the novels, the expanding universe, all those Skywalker solo kids were powerful. They were mature. They had their weaknesses. They had their fault, but they were solid characters. They had something behind them. Well, look what we got in the movies. We got, until the last movie, he was a little bit better, and I think Adam Driver did a great job in the movie. I mean, for what he was given. But I mean, you remember the first Star Wars, we had Darth Vader, big. It was scary. But in this, The Force Awakens, we got Kylo Ren, and it's like, when he has a temper tantrum, it becomes a joke.
Here's my Kylo Ren mug.
There
My
you go,
kids got
Mark.
me. Yeah. He does look scary there, right? Yeah, it's tough to.
Well, he looks
the
scary.
reflection.
Yeah, he looks
does
scary.
look scary. Yeah,
He
but
looks
the
scary
character
until
was
he
just
talks.
so poorly
Yeah.
written. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
until he talks and acts, you lost respect for, like if they'd have done that with Darth Vader, that was something about that presence, your presence entering the room and how you carry yourself makes for an ultimate bad guy in that situation. But
Well, they really, in this episode too, the what really was bad, this really hit the brakes. This introduction of this subplot, it should have been interweaved in little bits throughout the first three episodes,
Yep.
possibly. It's just they give you 20 to 30 minutes of this whole story and they tell it all
A lot.
together. It would have been a lot more interesting, I think, if they broke it up. And
Yeah.
this character you're not sympathetic to, right? Because he's trying to mutilate Grogu, right? So you don't like this guy. He's basically a Yahtzee. And this Elia Kane, I forgot her name, but that's the name of the character, this other Yahtzee, and she's up to no good, and she's maybe playing off certain attraction that she thinks the guy might have, and she basically sets him up. In the end, they're going to give him some kind of treatment, to kind of like Star Trek. What was the episode where they go to the sanitarium and the doctor is putting everyone into that chair, Cloudburn Times.
Dagger of the Mind?
Dagger of the Mind, thank you. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of a Dagger of the Mind, this mind flare.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be on like 1 or 2, to kind of recondition him, and he's looking at her like, why did you set me up? Why did you do that to me? Why'd you set me up? And of course, then she puts it on
Why
11.
don't you just make 10 louder and make 10 be the top number and make that a little louder?
These go to 11.
Oh man.
Guy that she's in there with says, "Oh, it's okay if you watch this. I understand he's your friend." So it's the guy you kind of, I guess, feel sorry for because he was set up and he thinks that, well, now I can do some good with the cloning. The Kimonans did the cloning, and like I could have made some organs and helped save my mom or save people, and but it's just the way it's introduced. It's just such a stark thing. And of course, then they jump off a train, the train going 60 miles an hour. I wonder if she's got any force abilities. I guess not. Maybe she just knows. I guess she just knows where to jump off and hit the sack of stuff. And it's a train that levitates too. I mean,
I love that train.
It was cool. Yeah, the effects are cool.
Oh yeah.
And
technically,
it's well done, but the story just was like, let's drop an anvil on the progression of the story.
If I heard what you said, that it sounds like a lot of this was done via exposition and them explaining everything, not being acted out. Well, you can only take so much exposition at a time. You've got, eventually you need to see it and show it to the people to be able to put 2 and 2 together. Otherwise, you get what it sounds like we got is a big lecture fest. 2 people talking. You see nothing.
Just go ahead, Retro.
well, I think they took so long with every single scene, and I think they wanted you to see why this guy would make the decision he makes, as far as like feeling like he wanted to do something important, but the new the New Republic wanted him to be a number. Everybody was a number to them. He was L-52, so he wanted to be special, and he was working monotonously on an endless job. And he's getting psychological questions psychographed by a robot.
By
And
Fraser Crane.
3 times, not just once, not
Yeah.
just 3 times. And it's just sort of like, they wanted you to go through the process of that, but I also feel it could have been cut down or spread out. And as dense as the first episode was, and as monotonous as the second episode was, I think it could have had some storyboards in there of this sequence, and it would have been just so much better.
I agree.
'Cause
Yeah.
it just interrupted the pacing too much. And I feel like I wanted to know what was going to happen with Din and Bo-Katan on with the Mandalorians. What was going to happen? And so we had to wait. Was it 30 minutes to find out?
Yeah. And then you had to. Oh, that was the girl. That's the girl who was Gentara, Katie O'Brien, the actress who's in Ant-Man and Wasp. She's the rebel soldier, freedom fighter in Ant-Man and Wasp: Quantumania, I guess. It
Yeah,
looks like. That's why I thought she kind of looked familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she
Yeah.
was good in this. That character.
Wow, look at her.
Elia-
She's
Oh,
wow. Don't gonna fight with her.
yeah, she's she's got a lot of muscles.
Wowzers. That's why I thought she looked slightly familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, her character Elia Kane is a complete sociopath though, because she goes and she introduces herself. She makes it a point to introduce herself to Pershing, as a human being to another. And it's like, oh yes, my name is this. What's yours? We're finally connecting as human beings. Just before she turns him in and does what she does to him, and I just thought, wow, they're building her up to be a complete sociopath. And they better pay off with that. And I think she better not be like just a throwaway character. They better do something with her, because why make us sit through 30 minutes of character building and not do anything with the character?
Good point.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, if that if they did that, yeah, they got to do something more with the character. And then this just really did they have the revelation? Oh, hey, Rob Altus. Yeah, hey, Rob, how's it going?
Hi, Rob.
Did they have the then of course Mando gets the armor and says I've bathed in these waters, and she puts the waters in like this thing, and I guess because they're living waters, somehow they've got some algae or something that lights up. And he says, okay, you've been redeemed, which is, I think, just so ridiculous that you can just go take a bath. And you should have to kill a mythosaur or something too. I mean, I guess for him to get there wasn't easy because of what the way the planet is now. They think the planet's cursed, but back in the day, you just had to go take a bath under the city. I mean, you got to do a quest. But anyway, so they says, you're redeemed. You're one of us. And they tell
They tell Starbuck that she's, you took a bath too. We can smell. Both of you don't smell so bad as you did before. So, would you like to join us too? You've been redeemed.
Yeah. Have you taken your helmet off? She's like, no, I haven't removed her helmet. Well, yeah,
I forgot. You should have said, nah, yeah. Oh, I'll join you guys. Then take it off. Oops, I took it off. Too bad. I'll go take another bath. Psych.
It's so funny because I thought something was really fishy about the whole thing, because I'm very skeptical about everything. But
Sure.
when we see her, the first clip of her with still wearing the helmet, I was like, huh. So she hasn't taken her helmet off.
Yeah. Why?
And
Wouldn't she
yeah,
take the helmet off right when she got on the plane or the
yeah,
starfighter normally?
yeah. Oh my God. She
Hmm.
was taking her helmet off for every reason. Like as soon as she would stop fighting, she would rip that helmet off. So I
Yep.
was like, why all of a sudden she's not taking off her helmet?
And therefore, why not, instead of writing the silliness of having, making Groku have to go pick her up and take an Uber to go pick her up?
Yeah.
Why not make it where she was following along all along
A friend, a,
behind him?
a friend of mine suggested the same thing, and I think it's a brilliant idea because it makes sense. Like, hey, she's like, you know what? That man though, he's strong, but he's kind of dumb. I better follow him just in case he gets into
Right.
trouble.
Let me
You
go
know?
watch his back because he's sort of a doofus. He gets himself in trouble. Because I mean, let's face it, we're in that era of anyway where the dude characters are always getting saved, being rescued. So
Yeah.
why not one more and do that, and then then you're covered. But no.
Well, I think it's interesting juxtaposition. If I correct me if I'm wrong with what you said, Retro, that that he was, I guess, not being happy being looked at as a number or stuff in terms of the New Republic.
Yeah.
But it is kind of just a position because it seems like that was the way the Empire was. I mean, stormtroopers had numbers; they were not people. And
Yep.
for them to do this in this show is like, what is your point? Making the good guys,
the point was that the Empire and the New Republic were no different. It was slightly different. I mean, they wouldn't straight up kill their enemies, but they were treating people exactly the same. And if you in the beginning, they have a whole bunch of rich people that are congratulating Pershing, and they're like, so Empire, New Republic, same thing. And who could keep track of all of this stuff anyway? And so they never had to fight in any of the wars. They were always protected on Coruscant. So it's the same regime, unfortunately, but it's slightly less dangerous.
Yep. And hail to Cavatino Caverman Che. Thanks for joining us tonight. Yep. So so it's just really a miss on this third episode. It's just a mess, and they don't seem to have the writing in order in terms of what they're going to do and how they're going to present these characters. Because Mando's a interesting character, but when they as we've said, when they go to this character, the ex scientist, it's just really, really not well done. And of course, now we're not going to see the cute Katie Sackhoff's face anymore. So
I'm telling you about that, dude. She said, "Oh, well, that's a great gig you got there, Pablo." Yeah, guess what? If you get your character, talk them into making your character a mask wearing, a helmet wearing loon, then you never have to show up half the time either.
Yeah. It's like,
do the voice work.
No fair.
What an easy gig now. Just do voice stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she takes her work really seriously, Kate, in terms of physicality. I know I've seen her workout videos. Excuse me. If you search her on YouTube, and she goes all out, for her characters, which I appreciate. Training and in terms of working out, and looking believable as a character. And of course, she voiced the character in animation too. So, but it's just really, really.
I'm
like,
just
crud.
hoping the next couple of episodes are a lot better, and that somehow it redeems itself somehow. It's just really disappointing because I actually like binge watched the first season and the second season back to back, and I was like loving it. I loved it, and and I didn't mind the stuff in Boba Fett, but I was a little upset that I had to do that. But then so far with season 3 it's been like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. But it's really been hard to hold on to my excitement.
understand.
Especially after we're here on episode 3, we should be like stoked, you know. We've got
Yeah.
4 more. Oh, how many more episodes do we have? I think
don't know.
5 more episodes left, and
Yep.
so I just hope it's not a drag, or you know, that it's not going to be you know, effort, you know, a really hard
A chore to watch. Yeah.
chore. Yes,
Yeah.
a chore. Like, I want to enjoy this, and I
Yeah.
think I've been trying to be very positive with it as much as possible, but it's getting harder and harder each episode.
Agreed. And it's a shame because I mean, I've always been sort of, I like the show enough. I watched each one of them one time, and you know, but at least it was watchable and an enjoyable show. And I certainly would hope it gets better this season as well. But I don't know. I mean, I don't like the direction they're taking. You know.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, would it be hard for Din to save Bo-Katan just once? Like, just once.
Yeah, right. Just once. Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't mind her saving him, but I mean, it should
No,
be even.
I
It
hear
should
ya.
be even.
It's Disney,
it should
though.
Be even. Yeah,
It's
it
Disney
should be
that I don't know.
even.
Right.
Yeah, because we like Bo-Katan as a character, but
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
this is
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
but
It's
you should
Disney,
be able
so
to.
it's never going to happen.
Yeah, but
The
I
Mandalorian
do
should be
believe
kick-ass.
that the Mandalorians were different species. They're also different genders. So, I mean, you did have strong female fighters in the history of the Mandalorian warriors, but you know, so that's one area I'm a little more willing to give a little more grace or cushion to.
No one's saying she shouldn't be a badass, you know, character, but he shouldn't be a dope. I mean, he wasn't an incompetent boob for the most part. The first 2 seasons.
Exactly. I mean, I mean, to give her credit, she was part of the Death Watch, and she has a lot of training. By now, it must be like 20 years of training. So she's definitely, you know, due to be able to save some people here and now. But you know, Din is like, it's time for Din to step up and be the Mandalorian we all know he can be, and do some saving, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see him kick some ass.
Or Grogu, if that's the theory.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Get in there, mix it up, Grogu.
Yeah.
Stop being such a putz, Mandalorian.
I do like that pram that he has. When he was leaving out of the caves and kind of was speeding out of there, I thought that was kind of a cool little thing, that he can travel with that pram.
Oh,
So,
the little baby carriage, I guess. For
I hope they fix it up and they, you know, they put some gadgets on it and stuff like that.
Put some laser beams on
They
it.
should, yeah.
Grogu with
Freaking
freaking laser
lasers.
beams.
Freaking laser beams.
Mark, that's the next vehicle we need in Fortnite that I can drive.
There we go. That'll
You're
be
onto
awesome.
something though, Retro. You've given them, if any of they don't listen, I guess, but if any of the people at Disney were smart, they go, "Oh, that's another accessory toy we can make for Grogu." A tricked out, whatever you want to call that, ride thingy rides. Want to know what you call it?
Yeah.
I think they call it a pram. P-R-A-M,
I
think.
Whatever you call it that. Yeah, and then make them, you know, market it, make toys out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Nobody buys Star Wars toys anymore. Sorry.
No.
Oh, maybe
They do
this
buy
guy
Grogu,
cloned
though. They do
Snoke.
buy Grogu.
Maybe this was the guy that cloned Snoke.
Probably.
With another
That's the
useless
theory.
villain. Oh, that's
the
another
working
villain
theory.
that went
That's,
nowhere.
Look, all roads probably lead to the sequel trash. So
yeah,
Well,
that's a problem.
Well, I would figure that it would have to. I mean,
unfortunately,
ultimately,
I don't think it has to. They're just choosing to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they're to double down and to make it make it the Lord. They almost have to, because why would they do something that would vary from it unless they're going to reboot which they're not going to reboot the so-called Skywalker trilogy. I mean, they're going to take in that
I tell you
direction.
why you don't do it. because you want people to actually watch this show.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you. I would throw out all the new movies. I just would go
I'm
in a
saying,
completely different direction with
even
this.
if they don't use it to contradict the sequel trash, which I would love to see them do. Even if they don't do that, how about keep this show neutral so people will keep watching it, because they're already not watching it. The ratings are terrible, and if you start really singling out that you're going towards the sequel trilogy with this show, you'll get rid of even all of your viewers.
Clobby, I think that's a very good point, because that's why I was willing to give the first season a try, that it stayed really away from that direction.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good point, that's an option they could do and should do.
Yeah, and it was good. And so I think because is this really the first time they're really connecting to the sequels in the show? Because I don't remember them doing it before, but even still, if they're gonna go down sort of a path of doing that a little bit, but then somehow move away from it, it would be the best idea, because I would like to see Mandalorian stuff go on, and stories go on past this, sort of this weird era that's approaching the sequels. I really don't want to have anything to do, but let the sequel stories be the sequel stories, and let Mandalorian be its own thing,
Yeah.
And in many ways, like, it was great seeing Luke back, and I would never say take that out, but that kind of brought the two worlds together in a way. But now it's time to start moving away from it,
Oh, and hail to Monkey Jeebus. He bought the Black Series Scorch, which is this figure.
Awesome.
Very cool. And he got Mace Windu. So they do make some really nice figures. And the Black Series is those the more realistic, I guess, for lack of a better term. It's not the 3 3/4 line, which are great in their own right too. But so that's a cool figure. Yeah.
Congratulations.
And to follow up on your go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
Well, I was just saying, Brian Hepburn has the season the pram, the 1/6 scale. That's really cool. Yeah. So
wow.
Baby Yoda pram. I'm gonna goggle it.
Nice.
Gosh.
Brian Hepburn, what's up, buddy?
Hey.
Very cool stuff. Yeah.
But to Retro's point, that when I see Luke Skywalker, and that was powerful when he returned at the end of the season, and it was a great moment. But at the end of the day, he still ends up as what he is at the new series. Han Solo is what is in the new movies, and so at the end of the day, that's, even though that moment in time, I was emotional. I'll admit it. I love that episode. That was so powerful, seeing the real Luke Skywalker.
Yep.
But when I stop and think about it and get the memories, we ended up with what we got, So, so that's why I think you're right. You're both right with keep it as something independent in its own realm and not trying to tie it into things.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Yep.
Be nice.
And Che is asking, how much would a Chrome Naboo Starfighter cost? Let's see. Well, there's a pre-order for this model kit, $32. And one of the easiest things you can do is actually, I don't know if you're good at building model kits, but and that's one of the things I did with a lot of the Star Trek ships was just build them and spray paint them chrome, like they had the 3 model kits or the 4 model kits, either chrome or metal. You can just buy. You don't have to have a airbrush. You can just buy, chrome spray paint, and as long as you sand the model pretty well and just put a couple of coats of primer on, sand that primer, and then paint black underneath your chrome is the trick. You always want to paint black underneath your chrome so you get better reflection. So then you can put either matte black, I think works best, and then spray your chrome. And of course, the canopy you could just spray over the canopy if you want it all silver. That would kind of look pretty cool. So it's always the labor for these things, putting them together versus buying them. And I'm sure they have I've seen, you know, they've got some models that are already put together you could buy, and it is a cool little starfighter, I have to say. It kind of grows on me, and I bought this for my kids, the toy, years ago. It's kind of trashed, unfortunately. They played with it, but you know, had lights and sounds and stuff. It was pretty cool.
Oh wow.
It's missing some pieces now, but yeah, it was fun. You know, they played with it. That's what it was for, right? Not to you know, not to keep in a box somewhere. Although I probably should have bought two now that it's on the Mandalorian. But yeah, that's an easy way to. And if you want to learn about modeling too, you can always you know, Google something on YouTube and it'll show. I've learned a lot from modelers that way. So which makes a big difference to learn how to do things and technique. So, which is pretty cool. And Lisa has a great point here. Yeah, frying Pershing's brain severed the connection to the sequels. I wonder if the only thing they grabbed from the labs were the instruments. So when Elia grabbed his box, I thought she was maybe going to get all his notes or, you know, some of his IP or circuit work, so she could continue that work or pass it on to someone else. But I guess when she grabbed his stuff, it was just looked like it was just, you know, lab equipment.
Mhm.
I was wondering if it would be like some of his research, but
Yeah, that was the part that really gave me the idea that because in order for him to join the program, they probably already got all of the cloning information from him already, all of the juicy details of what he knows
yeah,
and through the amnesty program. And so her total job here was to trap him and decommission him, if you will, because that science, you know, those weren't his science lab work at all. That was just some
yeah,
random science lab stuff. And
equipment.
so,
Yeah,
yeah, so it wasn't there's no you know, she wasn't after his mind. She was after the notch on her belt, if you
I
will.
agree. Yeah, that's a great point. I agree. Yeah, you're probably 100% right. And the only people I can disagree with are clobbering times. I'm just kidding, but yeah, no, that's that makes makes a lot of sense. So
Well, I love the way she like bites into the biscuit at the end.
oh yeah,
And
how
sort of,
about them apples?
yeah,
Kind
it's
of
sort
like,
of,
right? Yeah,
yeah, and letting you know she's still working. You know, she's still working for the Empire. She still has her allegiance to the Empire because of, you know, and so
and she loves those biscuits. Yep,
yeah,
she liked the
everybody
red
loves the
ones though.
biscuits. Yeah.
So this is the what I bought for my son. Yep. So or
Oh,
sons. Yep.
cool.
Not for me, but like the pieces they were flexible, I guess, so kids couldn't put out their eye. So these pieces are all messed up, and but it was they had fun. Yeah, see how it's kind of over time. $140. Oh, Eric, I want that back now. I think it's missing the canopy and you know the pieces off the back, but it should 3D print new pieces for it. I guess it would look look better or stay better. And here, oh, it's a small one, but here's a chrome one. Yeah, and I wonder if that's 3D printed. It's $50 on Etsy, but there's some great model. Oh, here you go. With looks like the one more like the Mandalorian. But yeah, it's a cool starfighter. But yeah, they there's no room in there. There's no room.
Yeah, X-wings are cooler.
Oh, that is cool.
That's cute, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So they've got
of course. That's a new toy. And
new
look,
toy, yeah.
Hyperion.
Wow, Hyperion, yeah.
Oh.
I guess it's a real mini toy. Wow.
That is so adorable.
That's cute. Must be 5 5/4. Oh, it looks like a kids version. Yep. That's
That's super cute.
that's cute. Yep. And Donnie bought it too. He said under a quarter century ago. Yeah.
God, that makes me feel old. When you explain it like that, I feel old.
Is it Dr. Spectrum next door? Is that Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum from the Squadron Supreme?
Yes, you got it. Yep.
New ones?
Oh, that's yeah.
New
Well,
Marvel
this
Legends
is Marvel Legends. Yep.
coming out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Almost.
Wow,
That's one I might.
Dr. Spectrum.
I'm almost break my rule to get the Hyperion
The action figure rule. Yep.
moratorium. More of a guideline than a rule, but yeah, but I won't
Yeah,
do it.
I violate it all the time.
Not that I'll see it out there anyway. But.
For sure. Yep. Well, I think it's about time to get out of here, but I want to want to show one of my quick videos that I
That's
posted
adorable.
today. That is really cute. That's why I kept buying the toys for my kids. And I was like, "What did you buy now?" Like, what's for the kids? It's for the kids. It's not for me. That's for the kids. Yep. So here's yeah, this is really cute stuff. Yeah. Let's go scroll through here. So I'm going to show a time lapse video I did for some Legos, and I reposted it as a short because you always get more views for your short videos than the long videos. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is crazy. So I did this video.
Wow.
So here's a time lapse for you Doctor Who fans out there. So I did the original full-length video, like 7-minute version. I think got 40 views, and then this one's gotten, I don't know, a couple of hundred at least. But so here's a Lego time lapse. So I'll have to do some Star Wars ones Legos soon.
Nice.
But,
that's very cool
Wow.
console.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love this Lego. It sits under my TV, so I get to see it every day. And I got a lighting kit for it too. I've got to put the lighting kit in that. So it's a fun little
wow.
Nice stuff.
Lego set. Yep.
Very cool.
Classic Doctor.
60th anniversary this year. Boy, do
60,
I missed real Doctor Who.
Oh yeah, well,
But
we can talk about that in Star Wars next week. I get Star Trek next. See, my brain is Star Trek. But let me put the link in for that if anyone wants to go give it a like. So it pumps up the algorithm there. Would be appreciated. So, yeah. So no, we had a great time tonight. Man. Much appreciated. And let's shout everyone out. That's still in the chat. So let's see who's active in the chat. I can cheat with the all right. So we got Brian Hepburn, Cavatino, Cavermanche, Donnie Pearson, Lenrod, Lisa, and the Stream Elements bot are all active in the chat. I want to thank Steve Mitchum, Maddie's daddy, for the great Thor, for being here, hanging out with us tonight, and that was a lot of fun. And also, of course, Pat S. His internet was really wonky tonight. I always feel bad when there's a great Thor. I always feel bad when a guest slips out, but he told me it would only hang for an hour, and I think his internet was uber wonky. The great Dadman Walking 55.
Hey.
Thank you for being here tonight, Dadman.
Where'd they go?
Right there.
Oh, screw you.
Dadman.
Poor old Dadman. I don't endorse any of this, Dadman.
That's okay.
Dadman got clobbered.
Hey, but I've got to say, though, before you say anything else, I've been putting it a couple times in your chat. Also follow Mark over on Twitch. He's got a Twitch channel for gaming and for some of this stuff. And if you do have a Twitch, follow him over there. Gets to 50, and gets his numbers up, he can get monetized. So
thank you. And then I can buy more action figures.
Yep. Exactly. So, and then he can make more things with me driving a car, which was not me, but I was.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, much appreciated. Yep. And thank you, Lisa, for giving that short a like. Yep. And so hail to Donnie. And of course, I want to thank Retro New Girl for joining us this week. You're always welcome to pop in. You're one of us now. You're in the YouTube group link. So you don't always have to be here, but anytime you feel like it, invitations out there. Or even if you can only be here for a half hour or something, whatever, open invite basically. So I love having you here and hearing your point of view. Yep.
It was a pleasure. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys today.
Awesome.
Nice. Well, you've been fantastic. We love hanging out with you.
Oh, good. Thanks.
So why don't we do ladies first, and let me put your channel in if you want to tell us what you got coming up for the week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or if you don't, or whatever. Here's your channel.
Sure. I
Of the
have
Retro Nerd Girl.
Yeah, Retro Nerd Girl channel. I have live streams all this week. Wednesday morning, just started a morning show on Wednesdays.
Nice.
Which is 10 a.m. East Central. And then Friday, I will be continuing my Action Stars series. We're on episode 4. And then I will be doing a watch party on Saturday, which will be what was it again?
Jack the Giant Killer.
Jack the Giant Killer. And that should be a lot of fun. Join me if you can.
Excellent. Yep. So everyone smash that link there and sub to Retro Nerd Girl. And what I always say is go to YouTube and say notify me, because sometimes those notifications don't work. So, or use your Echo device to set your alarm, right? to who you're going to listen to. Yep. So, all right, we'll get with Dadman. Dadman, the only problem is I don't think you've been streaming enough lately. I don't think I've seen enough of you on the internet lately. So you might want to up your game a little bit. So
wow,
I think you've only been on like 3 or 4 times a day. I think you need to be coming on like 5 or 6 times a day.
Hey, I've done it 24 hours once, and I still had energy left. I can do that.
Yeah.
But hey, thanks, Mark. As always, thank you. Really, for the next couple weeks, I have standing shows on Monday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Mondays, we're going to be talking NCAA men's basketball. We're following the tournament. This has been a crazy weekend. So next weekend, tomorrow night. Yeah, there you go. Tomorrow night, we'll be looking at this last weekend's action. Looking forward to the Sweet 16 Elite 8 next weekend. On Fridays, we'll be looking at the XFL spring football. You know, hey, who doesn't love football this time of year
How
round?
do you even find out where to watch that, dude?
Because I got a guy that knows about the XFL, season ticket holders. It's on the obscure FX networks. Because I have the expanded ESPN stuff, I should be able to see it. But sometimes they're on ESPN, but they're very hard to find. I agree with you. They're really, hey, Donnie Pearson, there's a Sea Dragon fan there. Hey, all right. Yeah, Seattle. But yeah, it's hard to find, but you can find it out there. It's kind of a task. Friday nights, Mark and I do the late night Fortnite also.
Yep.
So, but this week, 2 other special events this week. The Tuesday night at 7 p.m., the missus and I are going to play Fortnite. It's going to be another date night Fortnite. So her and I will spend some time playing Fortnite. So come and join, and we do silly stuff and have fun. And probably we'll do more than just blowing up gas stations, with that. Actually, go look at my Twitter page today. If you follow me, I've got a number of Fortnite clips with that. I even parked a semi, not on top of a roof, not in a building, but halfway in and out of the second floor of a gas station. So that's how good I can park it. So
wow.
Yes, go check those out if you want to see something fun. And on Wednesday night, next Sunday night, I'll be on Lorena Creoles again at 8, the Welcome to Florida show, where we're talking about the history of Disney Fast Pass. And a special show this Wednesday night. It is. But this Wednesday night, I'm doing a new show at the movies, and I'm going to have a guest, Daisy Blossom, with me. We're going to try to talk about the Terminator movies, the first 2 or 3 movies in the series. So, busy week coming up, Mark. So hey,
most excellent.
And thanks for your support, Mark, and Clobby too. But Mark, thanks for all the help and all you give. Follow me. The best way to find me on Twitch and YouTube is at DadmanWalking55, and also on Twitter at DadmanWalking55. One stop shopping, one name to rule them all. So
and Dadman can't drive 55.
No, I know 105 maybe, but anyway. But thanks, Mark.
Yep. Oh, much appreciated. Yep, and of course,
damn, I want that clip.
Oh, I'll get you that clip. That's it. I forgot to upload because usually you get.
But both of those, I want them both. Next time
Don't you
you're
have
around,
both of those? I will
no,
upload
I'm
them.
on
Yep.
it. Yeah, if
Oh,
you
I
don't
thought you
mind.
had those. No, I don't mind. Yep.
Next
No,
time you're around.
so I made them for you. Yep. So the great Clobberin times. What have you got coming up?
Let's see. Of course, Monday night, Mark C. Comics out tomorrow night. It'll be Comics Talk for sure. I'm not exactly sure what. My nights, I have 4 nights a week. I'm always at 9 p.m. Central on my channel. I'm on other channels, of course. Tuesday night, I can't wait. I'm at it's special time, 5. I think it's 5:30 Eastern time, so 4:30 Central. The Great J-Man's channel. I'm going to be on with J-Man and Sean. We're going to be reviewing Shazam #1 from 1973, a comic review there, and then of course Tuesdays and Thursday nights I can be found at Midnight's Edge After Dark with Tom and that August Body, a group of great friends, and Wednesday nights Loki's Roundtable, comic book Roundtable at 7 and 9 again as mentioned. Wildcard Wednesday nights, Thursday nights the Clobby's Clubhouse with you, great Mark D with a C,
Yeah.
and Raquel, our wonderful first officer, and of course Nick's 8:30. So there's no Nick's show this week. Sorry, the comic shop show, but Saturday night Star Trek, and 9 p.m.
Awesome.
Central Standard Time. So thanks for
That's
having me,
excellent.
buddy.
Yep. Well, thank you. Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Yeah, thank you for being here. Always great to hang out with you. It's not Sunday night without hanging out with you guys. So,
Thanks.
and hail to Joe's Atmosphere who drove up. Great to be here. And I just put Joe's channel in the chat. So sub to the great Joe's Atmosphere. I remember botching your name the first time Joe came into the chat. I'm like, I was trying to say your name. I'm like, Atmos 4. I was like, and of course, it's like once you know what it is, it's like Joe's Atmosphere is so easy. But what do I know? But no, thank you so much, everyone. Thanks again to all my panelists. Everyone have a great, fantastic week. Hail to Lenrod, Larry, Hungry Boy, if you're still out there. The Stream Element Spot, Donnie Pearson, Lisa, Che. Trying to see if I'm missing anyone. You know, if I miss anyone, it's just my crummy memory. Although I did remember a few things tonight, which surprised me. Rob Altus, Lenrod. So yeah, everyone have a great, fantastic week. Be safe, be good, and yeah, looking forward to seeing you during the week streaming. And Toxic Tuesday, I gotta mention we're doing 48 hours. Although I'm going to play a joke on Nick, I'm going to take all the scenes from 24, the posters from 24, and put that in the StreamYards to tease him, because the running joke, I clipped the wrong James Bond movie. So I'm gonna, for a joke, I figure 48 hours. Don't tell him anyone, just in case he's listening.
I can't wait for that. Oh yeah, I'll be there with you.
Yeah, you'll be there with me for that.
I love
one.
48 hours.
Oh, Larry said no toys. Let's see. There we go.
Uh-oh.
There was a new toy that I got.
Had to mention toys.
You had to mention toys. We're getting out of here, but I had
That's not a toy.
Clobberin times. That's not a toy, right? That's not a toy.
No.
He tasks me. What else do I have?
Those toys are not toys.
Oh, I did get. All right. How about a Rocketeer? So
cool.
we got a bendy Rocketeer, right?
Yeah, we got to find you the rocket pack, because I have mine. Mine, I still have my rocket pack.
He can't fly, so I gotta get him. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta get him a rocket pack.
Yeah.
But yeah, so. But you know, it's and Lisa says con. So you know, once anyone puts that in the chat, then we gotta do it.
Of course.
Right, of course.
Yeah,
but thank you, everyone. It's been a lot of fun tonight. Much appreciated. I'm always really happy you guys all come to hang out with us. We got 15 people watching right now, listening to us, which is fantastic. So really, really great to have everyone here. And I've got a new outro, which I'm gonna play. So stay to the very end, because we got a fun little end to the outro. So I think you'll like it. I added to that. So let's if I can find it. You know, God, the streamers. I got too many video clips. But no. So thank you, everyone. I put the overlay on, cover up all our Mandalorian helmets there. And but thanks, everyone. Yeah, have a great week, and catch you all on the next Sunday Night Geekery. Be good, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night. Good night, guys.
And now, where is that outro? Here we go.
no.
I found it.
Fun storming the castle.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
You're still here? It's over. Go home.